the voice you trust. John Marks. All Philadelphia, all day. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, what up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic. Good morning, everybody listening on the frequency of WPEN FM. What's the call letters? 97.5 FM. Everybody listening on the radio. Good morning. The Fanatic app, and I was on it this morning listening, and man, there's video on there. First thing I see is Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo right up there, man. Boom.
Like a pre-roll?
Yeah, it's not a pre-roll. It's, like, I mean, I guess technically.
Like an advertisement type?
No. They're talking about something. They're breaking something down. Yeah, it's good. I watch it. So make sure, like, listen, if you're not in the car listening and you're like, hey, you can always tell Alexa to listen to 97.5 The Fanatic. But the Fanatic app.
You just sent like 30 people's Alexas going, what?
I know. Good.
You can't name a kid Alexa anymore.
You cannot.
It's one of the problems I have with Nick Sirianni. Every time you say his name, my Siri goes off on my phone.
No, so it says now playing Bryce Harper's protection wasn't good enough last year. And it's Bill and Ricky Bo talking about what they were talking about yesterday. You can listen live, all of our coverage. It's really, really good. So download the Fanatic app. Good morning to everybody watching on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to 97.5 The Fanatic on YouTube. You can watch our shows live, get all of our on-demand content, our off-air stuff as well. Good morning to everybody watching on YouTube. As Ray Dunn is on assignment today in North Carolina, we say good morning to Patricia Caputo. What's up, Trish?
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Yeah, there you go. We got a News at Noon with Trish after we say good morning to Jason Martinez. What's up, Jay?
How are you? How's everybody doing? I just logged on to the YouTube, and already somebody said John is the host of Inside the Actors Studio. Remember that with James Lipton?
I remember it was PBS.
Yeah.
I never saw it, but I know it's like
there were some like really good ones, like with like James Gandolfini and he would get great stuff.
Yeah, there was the other PBS guy. He got in trouble for being
Charlie
something.
Rose.
Yeah, Charlie Rose.
Me and my PBS.
Yeah.
Public broadcast system.
I watch Frontline on PBS. You ever watch Frontline?
Yes.
They can be very long episodes, but if you want depth on Iran, then that's probably the place to go, and that's what I look for.
Well, I mean, who doesn't?
Surprisingly, I'm the one that wants that. But anyway. All right, what's so Jason, there's a lot going on in the world of sports. You might have heard Bryce Harper.
Yeah, a lot going on, period.
Yeah, man. And we'll talk about, you got some personal stuff that's going on here that I saw you put out on Twitter. We'll talk about that coming up here. So I wanted to start with this. I want to ask a question because Jeremy Fowler, you know Jeremy Fowler?
I do.
ESPN senior NFL reporter.
Going to join us today, right?
So, yeah, at 11 o'clock. He's like, then this isn't taking a shot at any of the quote-unquote insiders. He's more of a reporter than an insider. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he's a reporter. Insiders just break news.
Yeah, Schefter gets texted what to put out on Twitter.
Rappaport breaks news.
Right.
Reporter, I think of him like more like Sean Clayton was a reporter.
He's digging.
Yeah.
He digs.
Jeremy Schaap was a reporter.
Well, yeah, Jeremy Schaap he did the outside the line stuff for a long time. So Jeremy Fowler he's plugged in on the NFL, and he has said recently, and we'll ask him about it, in addition to A.J. Brown and Max Crosby and everything else, but he had talked about the expectation around the league, because that's what he does. And he's texting with GMs, he's texting with players, he's texting with coaches. Yeah, right, like that's what he does. He's getting a feel for what people are saying, and the feel he has, and we'll see if he still feels like that, is that the Eagles could use a higher draft pick in this year's draft at quarterback. So, and when I hear that, I say, yeah, of course they would.
You should always be restocking that cupboard.
They're not
so important.
They're not going to reach on somebody because they're like, the Eagles aren't saying like, oh my God, Jalen Hurts is playing. We got to draft a quarterback. But here's my question to you, because this is what I believe, and I'm curious if other people believe the same thing. That Jalen Hurts, his play last season, has the Eagles, I don't know, maybe looking for a backup plan.
A little confounded.
Or from some insurance just in case. He has no guarantee money after 2026. And I'm not telling you that the Eagles right now are saying, yeah, we need to find his replacement. But I'm just looking from my standpoint as an Eagle fan and as somebody that's on the radio. I saw enough from Jalen Hurts last year as a passer, and I know he's a Super Bowl MVP, and he earned that, and he had a great Super Bowl. But as a passer last year and as a quarterback, I mean, I had questions about, like, man, like, is he a good enough passer to really be a difference maker? I thought that all along about Jalen Hurts, and he's proven me wrong.
It was the knock at first, right?
Right, and then he's been to 2 Super Bowls. I understand that, but all I'm saying is that did his play last year give anybody else like
pause?
Yeah, pause, worry that he's not the guy. And if I was running the Eagles, I'd be investigating. I'd be looking at a young quarterback in this draft for various reasons. But Jalen Hurts' play last year has me thinking, like, all right,
I have to invest in it now.
That they've decided that they're going to a new offense. They're challenging Jalen. It's before they were fine with running the Jalen Hurts offense. They would bring in play callers. Kellen Moore wasn't running his offense. He was running the Jalen Hurts offense.
Yeah.
Last year they were running the Jalen Hurts
That's
offense.
changing this offseason dramatically.
It's changed dramatically. And
can he execute it?
Right. Right. And I'd like to believe that he can, but I also need a backup plan.
Well, there's another part of the equation. He's only 27. He's not old by any stretch. He'll be 28 on August 7th. But as he evolves in his NFL career and running becomes less of a threat or less of something that he does very well, then how does he evolve as a quarterback into the pocket? Can he still be as effective without the threat of running and being as powerful as he is? Not to mention the fact that getting outside the pocket and running puts you at more risk for injury.
Correct.
Injuries can pile up, especially as you get older. So do you have to start looking at an insurance policy?
Yep. Has his play given the Eagles reason to look for an insurance policy or a backup plan?
Yeah.
Because you're right, like the injury stuff. And remember when it came out that Jalen went into the season and was like, I don't want to do more design runs? I always supported him on that because as you get older and as you evolve as a quarterback, you don't want him going out there and doing it.
No.
Sure, you want him to choose and pick his spots. Scrambles are one thing. Designed runs, I don't need Jalen Hurts doing a lot of design runs because that's even if he protects himself, he's going to take shots, and we've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
The problem last year was he wasn't throwing the ball well enough to not have running in his game.
Yeah.
When he's a dual-threat quarterback, he also needs to be able to throw the ball better. When you
He also didn't have the protection that he needed last year, too.
There's a lot of reasons why last year could have been last year, including the play calling, including the offense. But his weaknesses are his weaknesses. He doesn't throw the ball well over the middle of the field. For the most part, he's a one-read, and then when things start to break down, he starts rolling to his right, and then the ball a lot of times is getting thrown out of bounds.
Yeah.
Right? And he needs to evolve more as a quarterback.
So how high of a pick are you suggesting they use?
For the right quarterback, I would easily take one in the second round.
Okay, so the second where they took him.
53rd overall. Of course.
Okay.
They just gave Carson Wentz a $100 million contract, and they used the second-round draft pick on Jalen Hurts. Why? Carson Wentz had an injury history, wear and tear, and they had reason to worry.
Yeah. Well, they also knew that he had a coachability issue.
And by the way, some of the same things are said about Jalen Hurts and coachability.
Yep.
And some of the same things are said about relatability in the locker room with Jalen Hurts and with his teammates. Maybe not to the extent of Carson Wentz, but there's a lot of the same things.
Same red flags.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you're drafting his replacement, and you do have to worry about pissing him off. But his team right now is a lot better set up than Carson Wentz's was. At least at that time, you could say, damn it, you needed to use that second-round draft pick on helping Carson Wentz. You have A.J. Brown. You have Devontae Smith. Do you have
A.J. Brown?
I think you do.
Okay.
We'll talk to Jeremy Fowler about that. But even if you don't, you have Devontae Smith.
Okay.
Right? You have an elite defense. You have a top defense.
Who do we have at tight end?
I maybe Dallas Goedert.
Okay.
Probably Dallas Goedert.
Okay. I mean, these are all questions that we need to have answered through this offseason, right?
Correct.
That are very important to the success or failure of Jalen Hurts and the Eagles overall.
Second round
offense.
For the right quarterback, it's not even honestly, it's silly for anybody that would say no, based on what we know about the NFL and what we know here and how the Eagles operate. Do I think they're going to take a quarterback in the second round? I don't know if there's a quarterback worthy of taking where they take them, but they should. If there's a guy there they really like, they should. A guy
that slips that they see has a late first round, early second round grade on their chart, and he's there available for them and with their second round pick, then yeah, I think you do. Because to me, drafting a quarterback, you should do it at least every other year So you always have a backup coming because Tanner McKee is going into the final year, right? And I think we know Tanner McKee is not the heir apparent.
No. You'd be good to trade him now if you could get
a cup of coffee.
Well, some people are saying you get a third-round draft pick plus from a team like the Steelers, that he still has that type of value. But
then
also,
how would you consider it? Yeah.
You also need a quarterback, though. And backup quarterbacks like Jacoby Brissett last year made $12 million.
Yeah, they make good money.
Mariota made $8 million. I don't want Mariota.
No.
So it's nice to have that. It's another reason why you can draft a quarterback high. There's your backup quarterback for the next 4 years.
Exactly.
Worst case.
As an understudy. And then you can transition if you have to, if you can develop him properly. Trade him like they did with A.J. Feely when they had
Kevin Cobb,
and they also had Coy Detmer at that time. So there's a lot you can do. Get your variability. You should draft a quarterback with a decent round pick every other year. It's like in hockey. You should draft a goalie at least 3 out of every 4 years. You have to keep it coming, and you need to do it with the quarterback position as well.
You have to draft the right goalie, though.
Well, they take so damn long to develop. You know what I mean? It's like 5 years later, that goalie gets to the league at 24, 25 years old. So you have to always have that coming.
Or you can't trade away Bob, who was...
Well, that was more at his demand, but yeah.
Oh, really?
That's revisionist. Yeah. When they signed Bruce Guile to an 8-year deal, he doesn't see a path.
All right, so this is good for the text line and the phone line to start it up. 610-632-0975.
I have a butt, though.
No, I'm gonna. You do have a butt. You're a hockey player. You have a big butt.
Hockey butt.
610-632-0975. Middays with Marks. Jason Martinez in today. Ray Dunn on assignment. Patricia Caputo is producing the show today. And this is because I think you can say yes if the right quarterback is there, they should draft him because how could you not? If you believe this guy's good and can play, of course you should draft him right there. But I think the bigger hook or the bigger question is, did Jalen Hurts play his way into you thinking, man, we need a backup plan?
Did he elevate that concern this season?
Absolutely
yes, he did. My concern is that there's a lot of things they need to start restocking, like offensive line. Lane Johnson, if it's not the end, it's very close to the end. Tight end is bereft right now of depth. You need a third wide receiver. If you move on from AJ, you need a number 2 wide receiver.
You need a defensive end.
And you need a defensive end. You can't keep going back to Brandon Graham. All these things. And if you're going to use a second-round pick, it's high value on a quarterback, then you're not using it there. There's 2 types of teams in the NFL. There's the teams that have a franchise quarterback, and there's teams that are looking for a franchise quarterback. And if you don't have one, you're going nowhere until you get it.
No, if you don't have one, you're looking for one.
Exactly.
And you're not stopping looking for one. And that's why the
always
Eagles...
a number one concern if you don't have it.
The Eagles, think about it. They drafted Kevin Cobb. They brought in Mike Vick. They traded Kevin Cobb. They had Mike Vick, and they traded Kevin Cobb. They're always looking for the next guy because they realize the value. That Howie Roseman said they're a quarterback factory. We all laughed.
He was right.
Yeah, he was right.
Damn it.
He was right.
Yeah.
So they drafted, was it Kyle McCord from Syracuse? And he didn't even make the team because he wasn't good. And that was later on.
That was like 5th round, right?
Drafting a quarterback even in the 4th round is like, all right, you're drafting a quarterback in the 4th round. That's not somebody that you're looking, you could say, hey, this is to take Jalen Hurts' job. You draft a quarterback in the 2nd round, the message you're putting out there is the same message they put out when they drafted Jalen Hurts.
He's a threat.
Yeah, he's a threat. He is. And you know what? I think they need that right now.
Yeah, and look, if he's going to get a little pissy about it, then whatever.
Hey, man, he has done very well under that type of threat before. I mean,
collegiately?
Collegiately has, as a pro, everybody, the entire talk of the town was trade for Deshaun Watson. Trade for Russell Wilson. This guy's not good enough, and I was a part of it. This guy's not good enough to be a starting quarterback. He can't throw the ball well enough. He can't do this. He can't do that. But he was in 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, and he won a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, and they went out and traded for Sam Bradford. Remember, and he was a number 1 overall pick. And that didn't work. It worked for a preseason game when it 10 for 10. But like a guy like Drew Brees was taken 32nd overall.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you can find good quarterbacks even in the 2nd round. But you got to find the right guy where his transferable skills are going to go to the NFL, and he's going to fit what you do, and it's going to work out. If that player is available, I think they'd be foolish not to do it.
Right.
And I like lighting a fire under a guy's ass.
And Trish said this before we went on the air, and it's a little bit different because Brett Favre was older. Aaron Rodgers was older. I guess you could say old.
Jordan Love.
Right, with Jordan Love and with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers under Brett Favre, Jordan Love. But still, they weren't a year too late to get the young quarterback. They were early.
Yeah.
And those guys were ready to play by the time their quarterbacks were done. So there's nothing wrong, which I'm not saying use a first-round draft pick because Jalen Hurts isn't in his 30s. But using a second-round draft pick on your potential backup that is going to save you $8, $9, $10, $12 million in salary, especially with like you had said with Jalen, I don't think he's going to be a big factor in the running game. But if you're in the pocket, you take big hits too.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks take big hits, so having a backup quarterback, as we learned with Nick Foles.
Look at the teams like Chicago with Trubisky or the Jets when they had Sanchez. You know, you look at those teams. There's very few teams that have set it and forget it for a decade like they had with Tom Brady in New England or Peyton Manning in Indianapolis or Drew Brees in New Orleans. You have very few of those guys for that long of a period of time.
Right.
So you always got to be planning. And I just don't know how Hurts is going to age in this league. A league that's constantly changing, too, by the way.
Yeah. I'm worried less about
how adaptable is he?
But can he continue to improve as a passer? Because he had in the last couple of years.
Look, I think at this point, at 27 going on 28, you kind of are what you are as a passer. I think your development years are kind of behind you at that point. I don't think all of a sudden you become an accurate passer at 28. I don't. Do you think that's something you can learn now?
I can.
As you get more experience, you can read defenses better. You've seen more, but
the Super Bowl year he evolved when the passing offense wasn't great, but the first Super Bowl year where they lost, he evolved. He became the player that a lot of people
23, 24.
Okay, but he also, like, the year they went to the Super Bowl and how he performed in the Super Bowl when they won it, although that wasn't a great year, people forget. After the Carolina game, A.J. Brown was asked, and he said, "What's wrong?" He said, "The passing offense."
Yeah.
He wasn't saying Jalen Hurts necessarily.
And people freaked out.
The passing offense wasn't great. It wasn't.
No.
So they rode Saquon Barkley and the defense and the offensive line and everything to a Super Bowl. So that's all I'm saying. So we're gonna ask Jeremy Fowler if he thinks that the Eagles and what people are saying, because that's really was like what, because everybody in the NFL saying like, what's Howie up to?
Yeah. Oh, because things are really quiet right now, and that's when things get scary regarding Howie. When things kind of go dark at NovaCare, he's cooking something up. He's like Walter White. You know, he's got that perfect batch of blue.
Lab down
yeah. He's got the hat on, and he's going, say my name.
Because here's the other thing. I thought A.J. Brown was definitely getting moved. And then D. Gunn was on with the guys this morning and Amy, and he had said that A.J. doesn't want to leave, and A.J. wants to be here. So I'm
saying all the right things, isn't he?
It does seem like he wants to be here, but also what's the value for A.J. Brown? He's also making a lot of money. Would you rather use that money for a Dallas Goedert and a defensive end? And
no,
I don't know.
No, I want A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
If you lose A.J. Brown, I think you're handicapping Jalen Hurts. And if you want your window to be wide open, I don't care who you trade to get for A.J. Brown, you're not going to be better.
What A.J. Brown
be the best player in the deal? Well, I have to get a guy that's committed because there were times this year where he did not look committed, 100% all in. So there's got to be a come-to-Jesus meeting with the general manager.
No, it affected him on the field. Everything last year affected him on the field.
Yeah, and that was a problem. That can't happen again. I understand he's got to be managed. I know. He's not that much of a problem child.
No, he's not.
He's not T.O.
No, he's not a bad dude or a bad teammate.
No.
No one says anything bad about him down there.
I think there's a misperception that there is because he's a receiver.
Right.
But he's not like that. And look, they're a better team if he's here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, coming up. So this morning, knowing Fowler was coming on, I was kind of fishing around trying to find what potential mock, because there's a lot of mock trades that are being thrown out there right now. Because the GM meetings or the combines next week. Yeah. So deals get done
down in Indy.
Deals get done at the combine, or they get set up to be done at the combine.
The foundational aspects of a deal likely start there.
So I was looking at at least what reporters feel like is potential value for A.J. Brown. I'll share that with you because it was I'm wondering if they're undervaluing what I think A.J. Brown is worth, or I'm overvaluing what A.J. Brown's worth. Because I'll say this, I'm not making trades that they're putting out there for A.J. Brown.
Okay.
I'm
You're
not.
going to present a couple of scenarios.
I have four scenarios here.
How many?
Four. 610-632-0975. Middays with Marks and Bertitas. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another new coach. I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are expected to hire in-house and promote pass game coordinator Parks Frazier to quarterbacks coach for next season. This will be Jalen Hurts' sixth quarterback coach in his 6-year career with the Birds. Jeremy Fowler joins us at 11 to talk more Eagles. Spring training has begun for the Phillies. The team had their first full squad workout Monday in Clearwater. Bryce Harper spoke to the media Monday and kept it simple on the team's goals for the season.
As a team, we just got to go out there and play our game, understanding who we are as an organization, and just try to be better than we were last year.
Phillies will take on the Pirates in their first spring training game of the season Sunday afternoon. The Sixers have off tonight after the All-Star break has wrapped up. Over the break, they signed guard Cam Payne and are expected to sign forward Jabari Walker to a 2-year deal. Sixers are back in action against the Hawks Thursday right here in Philadelphia. The Flyers head coach Rick Taka and Team Canada, along with Team USA, has advanced in the quarterfinals in the Olympics. Those games will be played Thursday. Their opponents to be determined. This update is brought to you by True Green. True Green, stop doing it yourself and get golf course quality lawn the easy way from the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. Sign up today at truegreen.com. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the 97.5 Fanatic app.
Lot to cover with him. Latest on A.J. Brown. To me, it doesn't feel like that it's going to get done, but I could be completely. It's this thing where it's like, she loves me not. She loves me not. A.J.'s getting traded. We're not trading him. A.J.'s getting traded. Who knows? I really don't know at this time.
I don't feel like he is. At one point this season, I thought it was a foregone conclusion. This was it. Now I don't feel that way at all, and I feel like they can't afford to do it now.
All right, trade proposals coming up in 1 second, but the idea of drafting a quarterback, and I even went probably more extreme than the Eagles would, although if the right guy was there, I think they would take him in the second round. I certainly would. But the text line, non-surprisingly, disagreeing with my take. Correct, Trish?
Yes, they think you're insane.
Right. Just like,
but why?
Yeah, why? Give me some.
So Rob from Philly, but now lives in Minnesota. I believe the problem lies within the organization with development. I've seen it over the years with quarterbacks. They're not good passers, become pretty efficient later in their careers. I'm not saying don't draft a quarterback, but I'm saying second round when you have obvious issues that you need to address is wild.
But here's how wild it is.
He's not wrong.
Here's how wild it is.
There's obvious issues. You're right.
Yeah, it's so wild. The Eagles did it with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And they needed wide receivers. They needed, just like this year, you need offensive line.
And who they had at that time? Macklin and Alshon?
No, Macklin was
long far gone.
Yeah, Macklin was long gone. Yeah, you had, geez, was he drafted in 2020? I don't think Alshon was around anymore. You literally had nothing. I mean, who was the...
Jordan... Jordan Matthews?
I don't even think he was around anymore. Let me do 2020 Eagles depth chart. I'm telling you, I was pissed when they drafted Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Because I said what everybody's saying on the text line right now.
Well, you're a Wentzwagen guy.
Well, but at that point, I was kind of like...
What's going on here?
I saw the same thing, but they just signed him to a $100 million contract.
Yeah, so you figure, okay, they've committed.
They committed to him, so you're using the 53rd overall pick on a quarterback.
So it made no sense after you do that.
It made no sense. It really, really didn't. But you look at 2020 at receiving. All right, so who do you think had the most receptions that year on the Eagles in 2020?
Goddard.
Greg Ward. That's how pathetic they were on offense. Greg Ward with 53 receptions. Goddard in 11 games had 46. Who had the third most receptions? And he's a wide receiver.
And he's not on the team now, right?
Travis Fulgham. Remember, he was good for like 5 games and then he fell off.
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup with his jersey on.
Jalen Reagor was a rookie. Miles Scott.
Right. That's when Reagor was a rookie, and they passed up on Jefferson.
Right. So they drafted a wide receiver, but there were
the wrong one.
They drafted the wrong wide receiver, but the point is they had a ton. Alshon actually was on that team. They had a ton of other needs.
They had Ertz back then still.
Ertz was still there, correct.
Yeah.
They had a ton of other needs. So the idea that, they have so many other needs, I don't disagree with that, but Jalen Hurts' efficiency and play as a passing quarterback has me wondering if he's going to be the guy long term.
Yeah.
Any more text there, Trish?
We do. We have one more that says, I can't with this Hurts discussion. Drafting a quarterback is one thing, but drawing comparisons to Wentz is insane. Wentz is a far worse quarterback for a longer period of time and is made of glass. But can a guy just have a down year without us losing
We're not saying he's losing his job. It's the insurance policy. Look, quarterbacks get hurt all the time. And if you got a guy that's going to miss 5 games and somebody come in, you got to have somebody to keep you afloat. You have to.
Right.
Sometimes that costs a lot of money. Or they had Nick Foles when Carson got hurt, and they got lucky because he came back here. But if a lot of teams, if your starter gets hurt, you're done.
Yep.
Your window is just closed for that year. Sorry, you got no chance. So you want a guy that can at least keep you afloat.
And I also think a big difference between Wentz and Hurts, which will be contrary to what the texter is saying, is that Jalen Hurts has no guaranteed money after this year. Carson Wentz wasn't even in his contract.
I know. They had the biggest buyout in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, it was a dead cap that at the time was like, oh, my God, how can they do that? Now teams do it all the time, and the Eagles would have to do it if they traded A.J. Brown. But you're right. Jalen Hurts isn't Carson Wentz. That's not what I'm trying to say. But when they drafted Jalen Hurts, it was for a couple of different reasons. A, Carson Wentz couldn't stay healthy, and it was a cost-efficient backup quarterback who, by the way, they also loved. They didn't draft Jalen Hurts because they said, oh, my God, we need a backup to.
They couldn't believe he was
Wentz.
there.
They wanted him. They targeted him.
Yeah.
Right? So if the same thing would happen here, you're not necessarily saying this is our quarterback that's going to take over for Jalen Hurts, but it puts Jalen on the clock.
Yeah.
That if you continue to see, well, I don't know if this is the guy that's our long-term quarterback. You have a guy that is now learning on the job that can take the job. Or he's a backup quarterback if you ever need him.
And maybe you can turn him into a higher asset, into a first-round pick. You could turn a second-round pick into a first-round pick. That's always good.
We did this last week with Hurts, and Brandon Dutz, our YouTube producer, put up an Instagram reel over the weekend and on Twitter that had me more or less saying the same thing I'm saying right now. And in the comments, unfortunately, I saw one of the comments, the guy accused Beasley Broadcasting Group, the company that owns the station, of being involved in getting me to say this on the air.
So Bruce Beasley called you from down in Fort Myers.
I swear,
and got you to say that.
I swear that's what. Anytime you try to have the Hurts discussion,
that's Beasley.
To me, it's fairly obvious that Jalen struggled as a passer last year, and it's given me at least enough reason to be like, hey, I need a better backup plan than what we have right now because Tanner McKee ain't it. There's a conspiracy with the.
Can we get Bruce on the phone to see what his backup plan is, please? Or how about Caroline Beasley?
I don't know if she has that hot
she's
of a take.
She determines what gets played on the music.
Yeah, it's not the.
Okay, she's not sports.
It's not a conspiracy, and I'm telling you, this is not. I'm not saying this.
I love that accusation.
It's elite. I'm not saying this as what some of the other guys do, which is just to say something to try to get a reaction.
No, it's a legitimate conversation.
I honestly believe it.
All right, but again, to your point, it comes at a cost because you can't use that pick to get a next offensive lineman or get another wide receiver or get a defensive end.
Think about how well the Eagles do with second-round picks.
I mean, look at Cooper.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Shady McCoy. Yeah. Sean Jackson. Miles Sanders. If I had everything in front of me, I could probably give you a ton. They've both had some misses.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Makuba last year, I don't necessarily know if that's going to be a good one.
True Makuba, yeah.
We'll see. All right, so I was fishing around A.J. Brown, all right, because that's now as the Combine's next week. This story's not going away until the Eagles say we're not trading him or he doesn't get traded. All right, A.J. Brown, what is he worth? So CBS Sports had 5 mock trades. The top one that they had, because the other ones are like a third and a fourth or a third and then a pick swap in the fourth. And it's like Howie, literally, you would have to have Howie Roseman's dead body before he would trade A.J. Brown for a third-round draft pick.
Tyler Steen, Sidney Brown, third-round draft picks. Nakobe Dean was a third-round draft
pick.
Milton Williams was a third-round draft pick.
Great pick.
Jalix Hunt was a third-round draft
Great pick.
Yeah.
But
are they A.J. Brown?
No, I'm not doing it. So the top of the 5 mock trades, the top one was a second-round draft pick from the Bills, 60th overall. So you'd go A.J. Brown to the Bills for 60 overall.
No.
I'm not doing that.
No way.
Especially if he wants to come back, it's worth another shot to try to make it work in a new offense.
Yes.
We're talking first-round draft pick. That may change my mind. ESPN had a cornerback who's in the final year of his contract that actually played with Cooper DeJean at Iowa, Riley Moss, who is a true number 2 corner. He was good last year with the Broncos, but he's the number 2 corner.
Yeah.
And they had Patrick Surtain, who's making a lot of money, so they have good cornerback depth in Denver.
Yeah.
So you get Riley Moss, who immediately projects as your starting corner opposite of Quinyon Mitchell, and a second-round draft pick, and a 2027 fifth-round draft pick. And then you'd have to give them a 5th round in return and A.J. Brown. So a starter corner next year, their second-round draft pick, and a 5th for Brown and a 5th.
That
gets you thinking.
It gets me thinking a little bit because it solves a problem, but it also creates another problem. Again,
it fills one hole but opens up another big one.
Yeah, and you have Devontae, who I think can be the number 1, but I think you need 2 guys. And again, the trickle-down thing is, who is the friggin' tight end? It's not Grant Calcaterra.
Nobody on the team.
It's nobody here. So you're going to have to commit dollars to it.
It's got to be Goddard.
It doesn't. Because he can go, I gave you a cut rate last year. I'm not giving you a cut rate to get a good year.
No, I know, but I don't think a team's going to give him a 5-year.
No, but they'll give him
$50 million. Yeah, but it's all about the guaranteed money.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he can come back, absolutely.
But to your point, he's got the leverage here because the Eagles don't have a backup plan. And if they're going to go out in free agency, and that means they're spending free agent money on a guy that's going to be their
You're
starter.
overpaying.
Right.
You're paying more than you're going to pay him.
A guy that you don't know what he is.
Unknown. Yeah. You don't know how he fits.
The Goddard, he was healthy for the majority of last year.
Well,
you
missed
worry
2
about
games.
the health stuff.
Missed 2 games last year.
Yeah, you worry about the health stuff.
And you know this. Everybody knows this. The tight end is a quarterback's whoopee. It's their safety blanket. Like, you got to have trust in that guy that he's going to be available when things break down and that can block and seal an edge. And Goddard can do those things.
He can. And then there was another one that was a second and a fourth.
Yeah,
Was the other one
that doesn't intrigue me enough because I'm not getting – a lot of times in sports, the team who trades the best player in the deal
Loses out.
loses the deal.
Agreed.
But people in sports, I'll tell you what, they friggin' love the unknown. They love, this guy and that guy in college and this. And
We love draft picks.
They treat them like gold bullion. In sports.
NFL GMs do.
Yeah,
Because they
extends their job life.
well, and it also gives them, if you draft the right guy, he's inexpensive. Like,
Yep.
look at Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to make out because he's a free agent a year before if he was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
But Cooper DeJean is a second-round pick, dynamite. You get a first-round pick that can play, you get a fifth-year option. So you have 5 years. He starts making money in that fifth year. They're
You
making
do a lot
money.
of damage in those
Damn,
5
dude.
years, though.
Yeah, you're not giving him $100 million.
No, you don't have
Up
to.
front. Yeah.
No.
610-632-0975. Text line, phone line. 610-632-0975. One of the reasons why I think you would strongly consider moving A.J. Brown, if you can fetch a first-round draft pick, is a potential player that could be available in the trade market. And he gushes about the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, ask Jeremy Fowler about him.
All right.
But, I mean, Max Crosby saying he wants to be traded, it's probably a deeper hole than a lot of people realize on this team. We'll discuss that coming up right after this. Middays and Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about my hair for a second. Morgenstern Hair Restoration, the same spot, the same hair team that did my hair transplant. However many years ago. The results are amazing. If you're watching on YouTube, if you go to any of my social media pages, you can see what my hair looks like. It's not touched up or anything like that. Really, you're getting your hairline back. You're getting your hair back. And there's also non-invasive hair restoration options for men and for women at every stage of hair loss. So, like, I had a hair transplant. I had lost enough hair to where I'm like, you know what? Let's go transplant. But let's say that you're starting to lose your hair. If you're women and you're thinning, maybe after pregnancy and it's not coming back, non-invasive options that legitimately get your hair back. It's fuller, it's thicker. You'll notice it. And so all options of hair loss, all stages of hair loss, that's what Morgenstern Hair does for you. And we're talking about the best in the business, the most experience. Their team, my team over there, have been doing it for over 30 years. That's why I trusted my hairline with them. And we're talking about I've been over with the Morgenstern Hair team for 15 years. So again, if you're thinking about this, you hear me talk about it, you can reach out to me. I've had so many people over the years reach out to me with questions. I can even hand you off to the hair team over there at Morgenstern Hair, or you can call them. Just make sure you say, hey, I heard John Marks talking about you. 610-831-HAIR. 610-831-HAIR. The website is Morgan with an E, morgensternhair.com. morgensternhair.com. And for the month of February, if you book a hair transplant, a full year of Nutrafol for free. That's going to keep your hair healthy and growing all year long. 610-831-HAIR, morgensternhair.com.
No hot takes, no
Senior NFL reporter on all the subjects we talked about so far. Hurts, A.J. Brown, Max Crosby, which we'll get to coming up in a second, and more of the Combines next week. How active will Howie Roseman be? And a lot more. You know how when they changed the Wells Fargo Center, I still it doesn't, like, Xfinity Mobile Arena doesn't, I don't spit it out. Yeah, I don't spit it out naturally. I have to think about it a little bit.
Still call it the FU Center.
Yeah, sometimes.
Core States.
What was your favorite?
The FU Center. I mean, it was just Philly, right? I mean,
what was the first one? Was it Core
State Center? Yeah, Core State Spectrum or whatever.
Core
State Spectrum and then Core State Center.
Into Wachovia?
No, I think it was FU Center, then Wachovia.
For FU, then Wachovia.
Yeah, and then Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo.
To Xfinity Mobile.
Okay.
I think. My order may be off there.
So, and then they'll have a new one by the time they
the new stadium opens. Yeah.
What do they do with the old one?
I don't know. Like, to me, you keep it and use it as a venue. Like, why knock down these perfectly good buildings? You know what I mean?
Because you have to be able to use them.
Yeah, but
can you use them enough to upkeep them? And they just renovate them, and it's not like they didn't spend a ton of money.
A ton, right? Both upstairs, downstairs, everywhere. And the thing is it is one of the most used buildings in the country.
Right.
Because we're right in that northeast corridor where every big band that comes through is going to play there. You have two winter sports teams.
Right.
So it gets used like 325 days a year.
And also, like, when Disney on Ice comes, both teams don't have to be away for 2 weeks because you just use Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Yeah.
And then the higher end concerts that want the better venue, they go to the new building.
Yeah, like Madonna or Beyonce.
The circus goes to
like the room that I do the Flyers in is called NBA 1. It's the visiting NBA locker room. And from what I understand, like, they have the normal green rooms and dressing rooms for the bands that are like in the back and like kind of around the side in the back. But right in that tunnel where I am behind the Flyer bench that's where they make like the green room for Madonna, Beyonce, and Elton John, like the big acts.
The stars.
And from what I understand, they have to have a special toilet installed for those three people I mentioned.
Well, you know, Madonna, it was reported, this is probably 25 years ago now, that when she would come in town, she would stay at the Four Seasons that used to be on the Parkway.
Yeah.
Employees were told not to make eye contact with her.
Yeah. Yeah. The riders of some of these bands.
Trish Caputo is actually the same way. I got an email from Scott Masteller. Nobody make eye contact.
Don't look at me.
Just to stay in character.
Right, exactly.
You're like a method actor, like Christian Bale.
Yeah, like if I look, I might break character, start laughing.
So I say that because I just saw on Crossing Broad's Instagram page that the NovaCare complex, RIP. They have sold the naming rights to somewhere else.
I see that here now. It's no
ladies
more.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jefferson Health Training Complex.
So somebody else has bought the naming rights.
Because what do you say down at NovaCare? It's the slang. Down at NovaCare. NovaCare.
Yeah, now it's going to be down at the Jeff.
At the Jeff.
Yeah.
It's actually a good transition.
But nobody's going to be used to it for a decade until they resell it to somebody else.
Down at the Jeff. Well, they're gonna want a new training complex too. That sucker's 25 years old, right?
Is it really?
That was built before the link. Shortly before
the Veteran Stadium because they had the bubble there.
It was built, I believe, a year. I had to Google it, but it's right around because you had said with the link, it does seem like a shame that the Eagles are going to want a domed stadium or a retractable roof stadium, and that's coming. I feel like Lincoln Financial Field's still new.
So do I. Like, I look at it and I go, that looks new. Like, the Vet didn't look new when I went there in 1978.
It did. And by the 90s, it was, we need to
totally
blow
out
this
of
thing
date.
up.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like a relic at that point, right? But to me, I look at Lincoln Financial Field and I go, it still looks new. And it looks cool.
And it's only used, now, concerts.
Yeah.
Temple uses it.
Yep.
But 8 or 9 games a year for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's a limited use.
Plus preseason.
Yeah.
Citizens Bank, nobody's talking about a new baseball stadium for the Phillies, nor should they.
No.
It's a great ballpark.
It is a great ballpark. It will age well.
And it has.
And you can put concerts there as well, which I've been to. I saw the Eagles and James Taylor there. I had a nice nap. But, yeah.
2001 NovaCare. Yep.
Yeah, 2001.
Yep.
Wow.
I thought it was right around there.
Yeah, because
25 years.
Very early in the Andy Reid days is when that came to be. Wow, that's interesting. I can't believe it's 25 years. Where'd that go? But no more NovaCare.
Nope.
No more NovaCare.
The Jeff.
Going to the Jeff. It doesn't sound bad.
It doesn't. No, it sounds good, actually.
You want it to be something that's got Philadelphia ties to it, you know?
So Trish, when they announced the naming rights for Lincoln Financial Field, the CEO of Lincoln Financial came up and they're like, Jeff Jefferson, whatever his name was, whatever. And he actually was wagging his finger saying, do not call it the Link.
Yeah.
It's Lincoln Financial Field. Do not abbreviate it and call it the Link, which is, I don't think
we would get in trouble for that when I was at the other radio station because they paid to have the sponsor.
They still have.
Yeah.
That many years. So, but you can't tell fans don't care.
Right.
Yeah, we don't care what you paid to call it that.
But we call it the Link.
Yeah, you got your signage and it's the Link. The Link sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
That's a cool sounding name. Lincoln Financial Field doesn't sound cool.
So what's the nickname for Xfinity Mobile? The X?
There really isn't one. I think everybody still calls it Wells Fargo.
Like me.
Yeah, like Brian Smith in our broadcast screws up at least one out of every 3 games. I've only done it once this year where I've called it the wrong building.
Yeah, I'm like, Xfinity Mobile Arena. It doesn't roll off the tongue because we're not used to it as much.
Well, from an experience standpoint of going to games, whether Sixers, Flyers, or an event at now Xfinity Mobile Arena, Citizens Bank Park, or Lincoln Financial Field, where's your best experience?
Citizens
the
Bank.
ballpark?
Citizens Bank.
Yeah, it's the ballpark. It's the summer. It's a laid-back atmosphere with a team that year in, year out has been compelling and good. So that's got to be the one. That's got the most consistency. The craziest is obviously Lincoln Financial Field because that's like...
Yeah, Eagles games.
But it's not as crazy as the Vet was.
No, there will be nothing.
And the Flyers games are not as crazy as they were at the Spectrum.
Right. Which a lot of people said when the Core State Center opened up.
Yeah.
It was a lot different, and then fans got pushed up because of prices and things like that.
And pushed back because of the building code. Now, the grade is much less steep, where at the Spectrum it was more like... You remember climbing up to the high second level or third level there? It was scary.
Yeah, think of the
Vet. A ladder.
Think of the Vet, how steep that was.
Yeah.
Because it was so...
Can't make buildings like that anymore.
Nah, they don't make buildings like that.
You can in Canada, but you can't here.
All right, Jeremy Fowler is going to join us in 7 minutes to talk about all this stuff, but Max Crosby has asked for a trade.
Not David Crosby.
Not David Crosby, and not Crosby. Well, Crosby still Nash. But he is 28 years old. He will be 29 by the season starts next year. He's coming off a season where at the end of the year they told him, we're not going to put you back in. We're not going to. He was pissed about it. But he is a guy that is an elite pass rusher. The Eagles need their best pass rusher, and from an end. Yeah. Defensive tackles.
Without having to blitz.
Right. They need their best defensive end. I don't want to pay Jalen Phillips $20 million a year. Based on what I saw, he's a good player. He was a good addition last year. I need their best pass rusher. They were in on Micah Parsons. They were willing to do it. The Cowboys weren't, which was smart. But if Max Crosby's available, you can get him for a first-round draft pick plus, I'm doing it in a second.
And you know who the favorite is? Howie Roseman and the Eagles to get him because he's the biggest name out there.
Right. And it's a need.
And it's a need.
The Eagles value quarterback, offensive tackles, and defensive ends more than anybody. They have since Andy Reid was here. And that continues today.
It's wise.
More than a wide receiver? Could they possibly use A.J. Brown? His draft capital, get a Max Crosby. That's where it makes a lot of sense. We'll talk to Jeremy Fowler about all of this. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Max Crosby, and more. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, is coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another new coach. I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are expected to hire in-house and promote pass game coordinator Parks Frazier to quarterbacks coach for next season. This will be Jalen Hurts' 6th quarterback coach in his 6-year career with the Birds. Jeremy Fowler joins us at 11 to talk more Eagles. Spring training has begun for the Phillies. The team had their first full squad workout Monday in Clearwater. Bryce Harper spoke to the media Monday as well to talk about the expectations for the team in the National League this season.
Yeah, obviously we're expected to win the East. I feel like it's like that every single year. I'm not saying we're going to. I want to. This team wants to. Yeah, I feel like the East is a juggernaut. So just got to go in and play our game, understand we're a really good team.
Phillies will take on the Pirates in their first spring training game of the season Sunday afternoon. Sixers have off tonight as the All-Star break wrapped up Sunday. Over the break, they signed guard Cam Payne and are expected to sign forward Jabari Walker to a 2-year deal. Sixers are back in action versus the Hawks on Thursday in Philadelphia. Flyers and head coach Rick Taka and Team Canada, along with Team USA, have advanced to the quarterfinals in the Olympics. Those games will be played Thursday. Their opponents to be determined. This update is brought to you by Wendy's new Biggie Deal. Choose one of Wendy's new Biggie Deals for a pretty big deal. Got to be Wendy's. U.S. price and participation may vary. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic app.
I'm your host, John Marks, along with Jason Bertitas. And joining us right now, nobody in the business doing it better, ESPN senior NFL reporter, as the offseason is officially underway, it feels like. Mr. Jeremy Fowler joins us right now. Jeremy, thank you for a few minutes. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing great. We have a lot of things to talk about with the Eagles. Let's start here. I'm not even going to go A.J. Brown. I'm going to go Max Crosby. Because the Eagles have been now, you know Howie Roseman, you talk to people around the league, Max Crosby wants to be traded. The Eagles have a need at defensive end. They were in on Micah Parsons last season. Based on everything that you're hearing and who you're talking to, do you think the Eagles are viable contenders for a trade for Max Crosby?
Well, it depends on how we define viable. Do I think they'll check in on it and potentially be involved? I do. But their priorities are such where the defensive line, they have players in-house that they really like. What did they do with Jalen Phillips? I do believe that they're going to look into potentially re-signing him, depending on the price. And then you got Jordan Davis, who will be a priority for them. He's a free agent in a year. And then Jalen Carter, assuming they pick up the fifth-year option, which they inevitably will, they have to figure out his future. So because of those three players who are on the front line of a defense that was really the strength of the team last year, I don't know how Crosby fits at this point. So my sense right now is that they would maybe focus on those three first, while keeping an eye on Crosby and seeing if a deal would make sense there.
All right, Jeremy, it's still early, but with Combine next week, the latest on A.J. Brown, I kind of go back and forth on it. It feels like he's going to get traded, and then he speaks, and it's like, well, he doesn't sound like he wants to leave. So what are you hearing, and what's the latest on A.J. Brown?
Well, there's no latest from my vantage point at this point. It's kind of a slower time. I know teams are just emerging from draft meetings, and that they're going to start to get back into the swing of what's the latest with trades and free agency signings next week at the Combine. So it is a bit of a down period for that. So there's no hard update that I'm aware of at this point. Now, I do go back to a lot of team execs that I trust that keep track of such things have thought for a while now that the Philly will entertain a trade for A.J. Brown just for a variety of factors. One is the fit with the offense. That clearly was an issue last year. I mean, I think anybody who's watching could see that he was unhappy 8 or 9 different times or weekly, however you want to track it. And, the contract is a bit of a hurdle, but it's not something that they can get out of, or that they can't get out of, excuse me. So, they're going to certainly, my guess is they'll be approached by teams. There are a lot of teams that need help there and will be interested in A.J. Brown, considering his age and his production. So there are going to be avenues for them to at least look into it, and I think they will at the very least listen.
Jeremy, let me ask you just about Howie Roseman in general. Anytime a big name is out there, they're involved. The Eagles are a potential landing spot because of the way he's able to manipulate the cap. How is he viewed in league circles by his, the other general managers in the league, by agents, and everybody that kind of has to deal with him? And how attractive is what he does in the ability to get guys and maneuver money and keep the team at an elite level and competitive for a Super Bowl affect decision-making when it comes to players and agents and deciding to come here?
Yeah, so he's known as one of the most, if not the most aggressive. He's a trendsetter in that regard where he's not afraid to cut bait. And, if a deal doesn't make sense anymore, he's willing to move on from it, admit the mistake, and turn it into a positive. Like the Carson Wentz deal comes to mind for that. That was the old guard would say, oh, you don't move on or trade Carson Wentz with that contract. Well, they did it anyways. And so he's been at the forefront of the modern NFL, along with John Schneider in Seattle. Guys that have had success, you've seen it. I mean, they've been aggressive with making decisions that maybe don't look great on paper, but they have the foresight to know it's going to work out. Sometimes
does it make the other GMs mad the way he does business?
No, I think it sets a tone for you. You got to be aggressive in your roster building. I will say that there are teams that are sometimes when they get a call from Howie a little nervous because he does good deals and he's smart and they don't want to get fleeced. Yeah. There is that element. That sense is real. But a lot of times he'll call, and my understanding is teams will hear from Howie, even if Howie's not necessarily going to be able to make a deal, he's going to check in on it and he's going to be sort of a threat looming out there, whether it's perceived or real, So because of that, he's technically involved in every deal, even when he's not.
He's aware of his reputation and can use it to drive up a price.
Yes, for sure.
Interesting. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN senior NFL reporter. All right, so I'm kind of piggybacking on something I've heard you talk about before, which is Jalen Hurts. And I'm of the opinion that Jalen and how he played last season, it's at least reason to look at insurance in the draft, just in case they drafted Jalen Hurts because the organization liked him and they felt like they needed an insurance policy on Carson Wentz. Are executives around the league, are you hearing that there's chatter about like, hey, could the Eagles potentially do the same thing this season? Could they take a quarterback higher in the draft if they like somebody?
Yeah, that's certainly on the radar from the people I've talked to and just from observing the team and what they've done in the past. And, we know what they did with drafting Jalen Hurts in the second round when they had Carson Wentz. And I believe that formula could work for them yet again. And, it's a crucial time for Hurts. I believe he's at a crossroad. I know he's had great success there, and some would disagree with that. But some of the shortcomings were pretty obvious last year. And this is now a time where they get a new offensive coordinator in Sean Mannion, who comes from Green Bay, where they did a lot of under center work and a lot of play action and a lot of motions and shifts and all that fun stuff that a lot of offenses do, that he hasn't really executed in Philadelphia. So there's going to be change that he's going to have to embrace. Now, maybe this can help bring the best out of him, but he's going to have to come around to that change. And so I believe that the hire applies a little pressure in that way subconsciously, whether they want to send a message or not. I believe that it does send a message.
Jeremy, there's been a lot of change on the staff. Nick Sirianni, he obviously is still here as the overseer of all. Vic Fangio has decided to come back once again, but there, as you mentioned, Mannion, there's a lot of new faces that are going to be down there. Were you surprised the way things kind of played out this offseason from the assembling of this coaching staff and how it's kind of, I guess, evolved after last season?
A little bit. I kind of assumed that they would just go and get the biggest name and pay what it took to do that, whether it was Mike McDaniel or Brian Daboll. This was a unique job because I think if we were ranking offensive coordinator jobs, and there were a lot of them available, I wouldn't have put Philly at number one. I think Mike McDaniel spoke loudly when he took the Chargers job because you're going with the best quarterback option. Whether football fans would agree with that or not, Herbert is still considered that among all the jobs that were available, and that's why McDaniel's there, to be honest. So it's a unique job. It's a very good job. It can be the Eagles' job can be a kingmaker job.
Yeah.
But it's got to be done right. And some people I've talked to were concerned with the one and done factor in Philadelphia, whether one and done for an OC who underperformed, or if it's a one and done with Sirianni if they struggle this year and you don't make a run for the second consecutive year. Just the concept of the pressure cooker in Philly, I think that was a deterrent for some candidates. I do.
Wait, so do you think that if they really struggle this year with this new coaching staff, Jalen, they don't figure that out, and they have a season similar to this past one or worse, that really puts Sirianni on a hot seat?
I'll be right back. Right
here. Thank you. I don't necessarily. I'm not going to say they struggled because it's hard because I don't think they were out there offering 8 people the job and getting turned down either. I don't think that was the case. I think there's nuance to all this. I'm just telling you from the perspective of, there were a lot of candidates involved in the job. From the perspective of a few of the candidates I spoke to, that was a concern. Like, what is this? What is the tenure factor? Do you get any sort of semblance of tenure here if I take this job?
Right.
When Kevin Patullo, he had a rough go, yes, but he also had 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard rusher, and they won however many games. Was it 11 games, 10 or 11? So, and then you get fired for that. It's tough. It's a boom or bust option.
But Sirianni could be on the hot seat.
Not for everybody.
Could be on the hot seat if they don't perform again this year.
Well, I think that's the question that some candidates had. Yes, would he be on the hot seat if they have another struggling season? Yeah. I mean, I would say that's sort of out there as that. Yeah, people wonder if he's on the hot seat for sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, Jeremy, look at it, right? Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, went back to the playoffs, had a bad year, and he got fired. Right, Carson Wentz got $100 million. They drafted a quarterback in the second round.
They're very patient
for various reasons. Yeah, but you know what? It's worked for him.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Lurie's not a knee-jerk reaction type guy like some owners are, right? But for whatever reason, there's a lot of chaos in Philly, but it really works for the organization.
No, it absolutely does, and they have a clear-cut formula. Jeffrey's very involved. He seems to know what he wants, and so does Howie, and that works for them. And look, you can knock Nick Sirianni all you want. The guy's had an incredible amount of success.
Yep.
And his worst seasons are better than a lot of coaches that have tenure that have had it all. So I do think that's important to remember, like the notion that Nick is just some figurehead. I mean, he presses a lot of the right buttons there in a locker room with a lot of different personalities. So, yeah, they do have a good thing going. So that's the flip side of it. If you can come there and be the OC, and especially if you can get Jalen going and some of the under center play action stuff that he might have been resistant to in the past, I think that can be, a catalyst for that OC and for the team.
Jeremy, do you know what Nick Sirianni is judged on? Like, how is he graded at the end of the year?
Who's that?
Nick Sirianni? Because he doesn't call plays.
Graded by whom?
by the general manager. At the end of every season, you have a meeting. You sit down, what went right, what went wrong. Here's what we need to do better. What is he graded on?
Well,
what tasks?
I think you're great as a head coach. You're graded on everything: ability to relate to the players, to be a leader. Direction of the offense is part of it. That's his background. So he's tasked with that, and that wasn't good enough last year.
Okay.
So, but he's also, he has some cachet as being somebody who's had success and been in 2 Super Bowls and won one. He certainly has equity in the building.
Jeremy, I know you're busy. Thanks for squeezing us in, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, there he is, Jeremy Fowler, who gives you some good perspective. Sometimes you do forget
an order of Chinese.
That Nick Sirianni,
I think he was ordering food.
We might have been eating. Maybe an airport breakfast place.
I'd asked him the question again because clearly somebody was talking to him.
He's getting his change, yeah. It sounded like he was getting his change.
And he was answering the question prior, so I had to ask him again,
right.
Is he on the hot seat? And it sounds like if things don't go well, then he obviously is. There would be a consideration to move on.
Sure. Yeah.
And is the heir apparent Sean Mannion, or is it a whole new staff? Which is why this job maybe wasn't as attractive as maybe the San Diego, or, well, not San Diego anymore, but.
Yeah, we went over this. I think there was 2 people that didn't want this job or wanted another job, and they took other jobs. And there was nobody else out there that said no to this job.
Yeah.
And Sean Mannion, he wasn't on the top of he wasn't being interviewed to be offensive coordinators of other teams. He could have been.
Yep.
There was talk that if Kubiak took the Raiders job or one of the other coaches took the job, they're going to take it with them. But reality is that the Eagles, once they didn't get their top 2 guys, then they pivoted and they interviewed everybody, and they interviewed Mannion, and they said, we want to interview him again. It became pretty clear they were interested in him.
The second interview was the tip. The first 2 guys were obviously Dable and McDaniel.
Right.
And once they fell away, then it became, let's talk to a lot of people. And then when you saw the second interview for Mannion, it looked imminent and became reality.
If the Eagles' offense looks like we want it to look next year, Jalen takes steps, there's motion. It's like, wow, this is the offense that we want. The Eagles want this offense.
Yeah.
They want the offense that Shanahan and McVay. I am too. I'm really excited.
Because we have no idea what it's going to be.
And, I think you have to, even though I'm saying you should draft a quarterback in the second round, I'm not telling you Jalen Hurts can't evolve with the new offense.
No.
Yeah,
might be great.
There's reason to believe that he can. But this is it. And I think everybody's on the clock.
Do you think he was involved in the process at all?
Who?
Jalen?
No.
Talking to Mannion?
No.
Well, like Bryce Harper's involved in everything with the Phillies.
He is. I do not believe he was, and I would be very strongly saying that.
Howie's very protective of that stuff, obviously.
Well, do they ask him? I'm sure.
Does he meet with him?
I'm sure he's somewhat involved. I don't think that it was, all right, well, we got to get Jalen to sign off on this.
No, not as approval, but just meet with him to see, hey, what's the relationship? What's the dynamic like? And the thing is this, a lot of people go, well, he's never called plays before. Well, everybody at some point never called plays before. Like Sean McVay at some point was a first-time play caller.
Andy Reid, when he was hired, was never even a coordinator. He was the quarterback's coach.
Yeah, with Brett Favre and under Mike Holmgren, but never called plays and had some issues with that, when it came to time management. Running the ball was always
and that felt like less to do with experience, and that's just one of his weaknesses.
His preferences, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
Yeah.
But, it's a huge opportunity for the right guy.
It's the thing I'm most excited about this year, seeing what this offense can look like.
All right, so you asked how is Sirianni judged, all right, by the organization, by Jeffrey Lurie and Bal
Jeremy didn't know.
Well,
give me
I'll give you the answer.
Okay.
How do we judge not Nick Sirianni, because a lot of people are going to say, what does he do? Fire him. But when you're looking at the season last year, all right, what is the view of the season last year? Well, the offense, they could never figure out the offense. Kevin Patullo struggled as play caller, and Jalen Hurts didn't evolve anymore. Jalen Hurts really struggled, and the offensive line was banged up and injured.
So the chicken or the egg, though?
Who's more to blame, Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts for last year? Considering everybody says Nick Sirianni doesn't do anything, I don't know how you could say Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. But he also was the one who decided on Kevin Patullo.
I agreed, and he deserves, and he does get a lot of blame for that. But I think, if you remember, there was a story that came out. I don't know where it came from, but the report was, and it was, I think D-Gun had part of it, and somebody else had something, that said, during the week at practice, Jalen Hurts is doing all the stuff they want him to do. Once the game happens, Jalen Hurts isn't doing it. Just remember, A.J. Brown's behavior and Devontae Smith, after he caught a touchdown, the cameras had him. He got back on the bench, and he yelled, just throw the bleeping ball. And you could tell he was pissed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying, oh, he's mad at Patullo. It's like, no, he's not.
No, we did this all week in practice. Let's do it in the game.
Do it in the game.
Yeah.
So I would have to believe that the organization, i.e. Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, were more frustrated with Jalen Hurts than Nick Sirianni.
And his stubbornness.
Would you agree with that?
I would tend to agree with that.
Okay. And he's on the clock. I firmly believe Jalen Hurts, this is a, Jeremy called it a crossroads. I say he's on the clock. Not necessarily that this is his last year, but he's played his way into this being a crossroad year.
To being a conversation.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
This isn't something where we just came in and said, let's stir things up by talking about the starting quarterback and should they move it. No. This is a viable conversation because of the way it took place. And all the new, like you just brought up that, just throw me the freaking ball. We've been doing this in the reports from a guy like D. Gunn, who I trust. He doesn't pull things out of the thin air.
Right.
That says, we do things one way in practice and we get to the game and it doesn't happen. That's going to frustrate people.
And that's probably coaches explaining what's happening with Jalen.
Yeah.
And it's explaining the frustration. And it's, hey, this isn't all about Kevin Patullo. We're practicing something different. He's not, anybody with eyes can see that Jalen wasn't great last year as a thrower.
No question about it.
Right? And there could be explanations for it.
Yeah.
Offensive line, protection.
Lack of a run game.
Play calling, offense, Patullo, all that stuff. Right? Also, all that stuff was kind of there because of how Jalen operated within the offense.
Yeah.
As well. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. He poured water on the Max Crosby thing. But he also talked about Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips is the 5th free agent on ESPN.com's top 50 free agents.
Okay, so if you had a choice, Max Crosby or Jalen Phillips?
Honestly, I wouldn't.
It's not a choice.
I wouldn't give Jalen Phillips $20 million a year.
Okay, so you'd be willing to give up the acquisition fee of a first this year and a second next year?
I think they need a big upgrade on a defensive end.
Okay,
and there's a reason why they were fishing around and they were asking about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons on his podcast was talking about the Eagles being interested, but Jalen Phillips,
he was interested.
Of course he was. Jalen Phillips was the 5th ranked NFL free agent, and it's not a strong class.
But he's going to get paid.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like, so Trey Hendrickson's the best defensive end. He didn't have a good year last year. He had 4 sacks, but he was a monster the previous years, right? George Pickens is number 2. He's going back to the Cowboys, most likely on a franchise tag. Tyler Lindenbaum, the center, is number 3. Daniel Jones, 4. So your first player outside of Hendrickson on defense is Jalen Phillips, and it says the best team fit is the Eagles. And I say, okay, I'm not telling you that he's not a good player.
He had moments last year.
I don't want to play him like Max Crosby. I don't care about pressure rates and all that. I want production.
Yeah.
And when you have Jalen,
get home.
When you have Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Ojimo, when you have them pressuring up the middle, those ends should be
getting home.
Yeah, and who's their best end right now if Phillips doesn't come back? J-Lux Hunt.
J-Lux Hunt, yeah.
J-Lux Hunt.
Yeah.
Who's good, but he's not a number 1 end.
No.
Nolan Smith took a big-time step back last year.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're going to bring in Crosby, it's going to cost you, and you're not going to be able to draft that future
You're going to have
lineman.
to give up a draft pick and pay him.
Yeah. Yeah. But is that much? Would you rather just overpay for Jalen Phillips? I wouldn't, because I thought we saw moments last year. And was this maybe the great fit because he played for Fangio? He played here a little bit last year. It wasn't good enough for me.
Yeah.
So and look, if you're going all in to try and win again, then you got to give up some few. You got to put some stuff on the credit card and pay some interest.
All right, coming up, let's pivot to the Phillies. You heard Bryce Harper?
Oh, I did. I got some thoughts on it.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
But Bryce Harper also spoke
Hypocrite.
to Bussin' with the Boys.
Who's that?
You know that podcast?
No.
Taylor Lewin, and who else is on that? Trish, you don't even know. It doesn't matter. But very, very popular podcast.
Okay.
All right. They have this bus, and you get on the bus. It's not perverted like that. It's
So it's kind of like the Steve-O one where they get in a camper from Jackass.
Yeah, sure. I guess. Yeah, that's where they do the podcast. And so Bryce talked about the elite stuff, elite stuff, and the Dave
Not
Dombrowski
elite
stuff.
and the shirt.
By the way, he spoke for like 2 hours, and it was really, really good stuff.
Yeah,
we'll play the Dombrowski stuff, the elite stuff coming up after this. It's midday. Will Compton's the other name. There you go. Will Compton and Lewin. All right, that's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another new coach. I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are expected to hire in-house and promote pass game coordinator Parks Frazier to quarterback coach for next season. This will be Jalen Hurts' 6th quarterback coach in his 6-year career with the Birds. Jeremy Fowler just joined us at 11 and talked a lot about the Eagles. You can re-listen to that on 975thefanatic.com if you'd like. Spring training has begun for the Phillies. The team had their first full squad workout Monday in Clearwater. Bryce Harper spoke to the media Monday and kept it simple on the team's goals for the season.
As a team, we just got to go out there and play our game, understanding who we are as an organization, and just try to be better than we were last year.
Phillies will take on the Pirates in their first spring training game of the season Sunday afternoon. The Sixers have off tonight as the All-Star break wrapped up Sunday. Over the break, they signed guard Cam Payne and are expected to sign forward Jabari Walker to a 2-year deal. Sixers are back in action versus the Hawks Thursday right here at home. Flyers head coach Rick Taka and Team Canada, along with Team USA, have advanced to the quarterfinals in the Olympics. Those games will be played Thursday. Their opponents still to be determined. This update is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Oh, 97.5 Fanatic. John Marks, Jason Martinez, Patricia Caputo in for Ray today as he is on assignment with the Lady Owls down in North Carolina. He'll be back tomorrow.
How about that?
All right. So Bryce Harper, he arrives at spring training, and he is, of course, asked about Dave Dombrowski. We'll play some new audio for you that was on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast in a second, but overall, Bryce had more or less, he said it was wild 3 times, and he obviously feels a certain way about it. So what were your overall thoughts with what Bryce said?
Well, I thought it was a little bit hypocritical because he said, when I came here, I was told we were going to keep everything in-house. He doesn't keep a lot of things in-house. He has been very vocal about who they should sign, who they should keep, whether that's JT or whoever. So you can't be critical of, getting called out when you don't keep things in-house either.
Yeah, but that's not what he's talking about. That's not what he's talking about. And honestly, keeping things in-house, this wasn't something keeping things in-house. This is Dave Dombrowski being stupid and running his mouth at the end of the season press conference, not realizing what he was doing. They weren't trying to publicly air any laundry of anything that was going on, and that's kind of how Bryce has been explaining it. Like, I thought we were going to keep everything
he was just being
in-house.
honest, though.
Yeah, like Dave was just being honest, and he wasn't wrong, but you don't say it. Lane Johnson couldn't finish games this year. Lane Johnson was injured. Lane Johnson wasn't the same player that he'd been in previous years.
Yeah.
Howie Roseman, do you think Lane Johnson is still an elite tackle? Oh, only Lane knows that. Lane Johnson, was injured a lot. I don't know if Lane can be an elite player anymore. You don't know. You don't say it. It's stupid. And now I don't think anybody would disagree that it's stupid.
Or disagree with what he said.
But, I think there's reasons why he wasn't elite last year. What I would have said if I was Dave Dombrowski was, I know Bryce didn't have the year that he wanted to have and he doesn't typically have, but he's just getting healthy. He was banged up a little bit last year. And if Phillies are going to win a World Series, if we're going to win a World Series, Bryce Harper needs to be that guy for us, and I believe he's going to be that guy again for us.
Yeah, I don't think what he said is that different than that. Maybe it was a little harsher.
Agreed, but then he should have said that. Instead of saying, well, I don't know if Bryce Harper can be elite anymore. Only Bryce Harper knows that. Yeah, I don't think Dave Dombrowski was trying to motivate him or saying anything bad about him.
Does it motivate him, though?
It's just, of course it motivates him.
He claims it doesn't.
Because he's trying to pretend it does, and of course it does. He has, now Bryce Harper, now he is on the defensive. And he's going to say, nothing, that doesn't motivate me. I work hard. I work out hard. I don't need that as motivation. And he's right. Of course it motivates him.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
You don't wear the shirt that says not elite if it doesn't motivate you.
It would motivate me.
Yeah.
All right?
Because you'd be like, screw you.
All right, screw you. I'm going to show you.
Yeah. And that's the only thing he can do. He can only show it.
Here's what it would do.
Season.
It would piss me off because now he's got to answer questions about it. It's just unnecessary.
Yeah. No, I do agree with that.
Bryce Harper knows that he didn't have a great
year. We complain all the time when GMs don't tell us the truth, and he told us the truth.
He didn't tell us the truth, though. He told us the obvious, which was he didn't have a great year, and he doesn't know if he's going to be. Just give me the comp of a GM saying, this isn't Bill Parcells. It's not 1988.
Yeah.
You don't come out and try to motivate a guy through the media. A GM doesn't do that. And I don't think that's what he was trying to do. I honestly believe Dave likes to talk. He was up there feeling good. He's waxing poetically about, we almost beat the Dodgers. And if this happens, if that happens. Dave Dombrowski's tone and his tenor of that day was, I did my job.
Exactly.
This is my job as a GM. From there, it's, does a ball bounce one way? Do players produce? But I did my job as a GM.
I set the table.
That's what he believes.
Yep.
And if Bryce Harper and those players would have played better, they might have beaten the Dodgers and they might have won a World Series. He's right about that.
Yeah.
You can't say it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him saying it, and I don't have a problem with it motivating Harper. Not that I believe that Harper needs to manufacture urgency and a high level of play, because I think he got to that level by being a guy that holds himself accountable. But I don't mind it.
Yep. I think it makes him play a little angrier.
Yeah, I do too.
It gives him some edge.
Yeah, it gives a little discomfort is always good.
Right. I mean, you can think that it's not motivating you, but you know what was said.
Yeah, and you want to shove it up there.
And you should use it.
Yeah.
Tom Brady used to make stuff up all the time to motivate.
Look at Jordan.
Jordan.
You watch The Last Dance. I mean, he was making things up, and he had lived in an alternate reality.
Man, if you're an NFL coach, you want everybody on your team to believe that no one believes that you can win, and the world's against
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's how you manufacture it. All right, bussing with the boys. Is it 2 minutes, Trish? Is that how long it is? Minute 10. All right. Does he see? I don't know how he cut this. I didn't tell him to edit it. Bryce Harper brings this up. He's not asked about it. And just so you know, because Bryce Harper spoke in spring training, they recorded this before Bryce went down to spring training.
Okay, so this is before that happened.
This is before he spoke to reporters down at spring training. So it was probably last week.
Okay.
All right. So here's Bryce Harper, and he's talking about the whole Dave Dombrowski stuff.
He's correct. It's elite.
Wow.
Get a zipper.
I don't know about elite things because I'm not elite anymore. So.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. What the The president comes on, he does a press conference, he says Bryce is no longer an elite player.
It is. I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, hold on.
So he can play great instead of good.
You brought it up. Yeah.
But stay great instead of good is something like that. But that feels like it's like unheard of for anybody that high of a level to come on and kind of talk about a player like that.
I think there's things within the organization that you probably shouldn't say in an outward like expression, right? Like if I had a problem with you, I'd probably, if you were on my team, I'd probably bring you to the side and talk to you. And so I think that was one thing when I signed there was like, hey, like we don't say anything about the organization outwardly or anything else. Like make sure it's behind the closed doors, and if you have a problem, like we'll talk about it. And so I think that's the kind of where it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit with that kind of stuff. Like I respect Dave and everything he's done in the game and everything else. He's great at his job and stuff. But I think for me personally, like if you have a problem, like you can talk to me and have an issue with it, like the way I'm playing or whatever. Like it's not going to motivate me. Like that's the thing. Like anything that people say like that doesn't motivate me. Like kind of just like.
All right, you do the follow-up? All right, because I want to play this because he says some good things. Here it is.
I think the tough part is like it's just a story that doesn't need to be out there. So like when we get to spring training, it's gonna be a story. Like people are gonna talk to me about it. People are gonna ask me about it. It's just like it doesn't need to be a story. Like, but like I think that's the thing. Like you don't want stories like that in spring. Like you don't want that to be right when you get there. Like, hey, what do you think? Great. This is what I have to answer. Besides,
everyone's got their opinion. Onward.
Right. So that's it. He don't want to like Bryce Harper didn't do anything. Dave Dombrowski brings this up. Now he's got to deal with it.
Yeah,
he had to deal with
Dave wrote him a check that he has to cash.
Right. And I guess that's part, like, because when he says, like, don't say things, come talk to me privately, that if Dave Dombrowski would have come out and said, I have a problem with Bryce Harper and the way he prepares, or I have a problem with Bryce Harper and how he is as a teammate or a leader, that's something where you're airing dirty laundry that you should go and talk to him. What are you going to, like, you're not going to go to Bryce Harper and say, I don't think you're elite anymore. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It was stupid for him to say. He should have never said it. And you know what? Bryce is mad right now about it still. Just to note, at the beginning of that, they were talking about food or something like that, and they were calling it elite. He made sure
he's the one that got it in.
Because they might not ask them about it.
Yeah.
And he made sure that it was asked, because that was
You wanted to put it on the record.
That was a good half hour into the episode, I think. I fished around this morning on my ride in, and that wasn't even in the like they talked a good half hour before he made sure it got brought up.
Yeah, he wanted to make a point.
Well, he was pissed. He hadn't talked about it all off season.
Yeah.
And he knows he's going to get asked about it.
Yeah, absolutely he's going to get asked about it, and he's claiming it's not going to motivate him. I don't need that to motivate me, but it's going to motivate me because I want to prove it. I want to prove him wrong.
So it's Uncle Jamie points out the other layer of this is Dombrowski's rubbed the wrong way because Boris is pressing on him. He wants more money, wants a contract extension. It gets leaked in the media and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So he feels a certain way about Scott Boris.
Well, if he wants the money, then he's got to be elite.
Right. You're right. You're right.
It's public negotiation.
Correct. But it was, so he made sure that he talked about it with athletes that were going to be in a more controlled environment. But credit to them where they're like, hey, well, you brought it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I can't wait for the season to play out because that's an interesting storyline.
Yep.
How does this get handled? How does Dombrowski handle it when he ultimately speaks at spring training? Because he'll be asked about it.
Yeah, it was, of course, not right now because when we go off the air locally is when you should check this out. Of course, not while we're on the air.
Yeah.
But the podcast, he talks about a lot of stuff. And I challenge anybody that says, I don't like Bryce Harper, I think he's a phony, to listen to this and not love Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I think he always does the right things. I think he's savvy.
But it wasn't that. It was he was having a conversation about free agency. They asked him about free agency. And he was just telling stories like he had said the Dodgers came in at the last minute with a shorter-term contract with more money per year. And he was really considering that. He talked about the Giants more or less offered the same contract as the Phillies. He talked about when he was still in Washington with the Nationals, the old man owner, old man Lerner, I think he called him.
Yeah.
During a rain delay of a game, someone came in and said, hey, Mr. Lerner would like to talk to you in his office. And Harper was like, during the game? He's like, yeah. And he went into his office, and Lerner gave him an envelope and said, this is an offer that you can't refuse. And it was a contract offer.
In the middle of a rain delay.
From like an 80-year-old guy. And he opened it up, and it was a contract offer.
Wow.
And he's like being like, what is going on? Like, they've been talking to my agent.
Now.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then, like, the details of the contract, he said the Yankees were never in. And he talked about he was pitching himself. The Padres liked him but wanted an infielder. And they said, yeah, we like you, Bryce, but we really want an infielder. And Bryce is like, yo, I can play first base. And they're like, nah, you're an outfielder. So even back then, how many years ago is that? 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Because then he said, isn't it funny? I'm top 3 in Gold Glove 3 years in a row, but back then no one thought I could play first base.
They didn't even think I could do it.
So for anybody that thinks he's going to go to the outfield so they can bring a first baseman in here,
Wrong.
He's touting that he's a Gold Glove caliber first baseman.
Yeah. Still.
And he's paying attention to it.
Brutal.
It's really, really, it's a really, really good conversation. So, and by the way, I'm also a Bryce fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bryce fan. So I'm hoping that, because doesn't it feel like this is a crossroad for Bryce right now in the organization?
Big time. Like it might be a crossroad for Jalen. It might be a crossroad for Bryce. All right, with the biggest figures in Philly sports.
We'll talk about that more coming up here. Also, Jason, he announced it on social media, but just, more information on his battle with cancer that's going on. That's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. in North Carolina eating Bojangles, probably drinking beer last night. Was he at the airport? A lot of times at the airport or something like that, he'll do an ask me anything on Instagram stories, and he'll be drinking a beer and eating chicken.
I have no idea. I have to double check.
Let me look.
He texted me later, where I assume once his plane lands, like, hey, here's phone numbers for shows, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's always working.
But actually, Ricky tracked his plane yesterday. So I'm doing the show in Unfiltered, and Ricky goes, oh, yeah, Ray's almost landed. And I'm like, okay.
No, 17 hours ago, he posted a picture from Bojangles. And if you don't know, Bojangles, I guess, is a chicken place in the
chicken,
South.
French fries, good biscuits.
Never had it. I would love to have it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'm in. I love chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, I have major
chicken.
fast food rankings, and that one's up there.
What's number one?
Ooh, I would guess Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is number one.
Yeah, I'm very basic, too. I don't get a sandwich. It's like nuggets and fries.
Nuggets and fries are delicious. The waffle fries are unbelievable. I'm always amazed at how busy they are pretty much all the time. It was 20 after 4. I just picked up the kids from school, and I dropped them off, and I'm like, all right, we had forget what we had early that day. We had basketball practice or something at like 5:30. So I'm like, I'm going to go get Chick-fil-A. I'll be back. 20 after 4, there must have been 40 people in the drive-thru.
That's crazy.
And it's always like that. And they're efficient. It took a little bit. Even with ordering it in the app, it still took a little bit of time to get it. But they're so busy. And then I drive past some of the older school fast food places. There's nobody ever in there.
No one wants to go there. Bojangles, I've had in the Charlotte airport before with my fish, and it was great. I did bring my fish back to school, so.
Good job. What, like a goldfish?
Yeah, betta fish, and I had it in a little bag. We got delayed for hours, and
it survived?
It did. It did survive, but that's where I had Bojangles. I've had it before, but in the Charlotte airport, so when he goes there and talks about it, I know what he's talking about.
That's where he's eating. Well, he was at a standalone Bojangles, or he just ripped the picture off of Google or something like that.
He probably looked one up. There's probably one in Charlotte.
All right, I wanted to talk more on Bryce Harper because we talked about it yesterday. Maybe there's a lot of people out there that were off yesterday for President's Day or whatever. So you don't want to beat a topic to death. And Bryce Harper and the Dave Dombrowski stuff, we're not at the beat to death stage just yet. But after listening to Harper on with Bustin' the Boys podcast. I like him, and I like listening to him talk because he was talking. He was saying he had to make a decision between football and baseball when he was in high school, and he loved football first. And it's just a lot you learn about the dude, and how much he struggled when he first went to junior college as a young kid or whatever. But just overall, and I know a lot of people give him crap, or one of the negative things you'll say about Bryce Harper is that, oh, he's disingenuous. The Fanatic stuff is just always pandering to the fans. And like yesterday, he had, what was it? He had the elbow pad, but it had Fanatic fur on it.
Ricky was very upset about that.
Ricky was mad about it, which I can understand. Ricky also hated the Trey Turner standing ovation back in the day, which I thought was a very good thing and showed our softer side. I like the pandering stuff, okay, like the Fanatic cleats and everything else. I'm just telling you, the dude's as good of a dude that's out there. And since when is trying to embrace the fans in the city and do everything that he can to kind of be one of us, why is that a bad thing? You'd rather him not like Philadelphia and not speak great about the city? And he's done everything that we've asked him to other than winning a World Series. And I know that he's struggled the last couple of years in the playoffs. He knows that as well. Believe me, he doesn't need us to tell us that. He knows that. But other than that, which is a real thing, why is there any negativity towards Bryce Harper? I don't see it. I don't. Is he perfect? Is he a good enough leader? Is obviously, because LeBron James comes, in addition to being a great player, there's a lot of. I was watching games of him in high school on ESPN2 because he was the next one. So when you're raised like that, of course you're going to have a different perspective on everything than anybody else. So there's a little bit of that with Bryce Harper. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was in high school. But considering that, he seems relatively normal when you hear him talk. I don't understand the negativity towards Bryce Harper, Trish. I really don't.
No, and I actually think relatively normal is true for all of the hype that he has gotten since high school. A lot of that could go to your head. You could be a total jerk, essentially. And I feel like he was very honest, especially on this podcast. And I think this helped him a lot, this podcast, to be able to say, I am a person. I have feelings too. But this is how I felt about the situation. Now, whatever they say about how the Phillies handled it, how they handle it themselves, I don't know. But obviously he got his feelings hurt.
Yeah, he was still mad.
And is still mad, which I think he needs to move on. But I think he wanted his voice to be heard.
You know what it is? It's like this with me. All right over there, Jay? Need a second?
Yeah, I need a second.
All right, you're fine. Whenever my wife and I have a disagreement, you can't just, which, happens, you can't just, it can't just go away without there having to be some type of a point where you discuss it. And a lot of times when you discuss it, you're pissed because a day has passed or you've acted like that you don't have to discuss it, and you have to discuss it. So the first time you talk about it, you're very emotional about it, and you get it off your chest, and then it's over. I think that's what yesterday was with Bryce.
And I think it should have happened 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Dave Dombrowski should have gave him a call. Hey, maybe that came out the wrong way, my bad, and then you break the ice. But Harper is saying that didn't happen, which I can understand why he's choosing to be petty.
So Dave said they spoke. It sounded like the conversation was, yep, all right, bye.
You got to be honest.
But also Dave Dombrowski needs to Bryce doesn't seem like, how I heard it was, Bryce, he wasn't trying to say anything bad about you. This isn't airing dirty laundry. That's actually not what's happening at all. This is just a guy that likes to talk that got caught in a moment of candor. And it was unnecessary, but he said it. And, you can be pissed. And I don't know how Dave handled it afterwards. I don't know if Dave was like, you know what, Bryce, that's not what I was trying to do. It was a moment. I don't know if he did. If he did that, Bryce shouldn't still be pissed about it. But
didn't they have a conversation?
Yeah, but what happened in the conversation?
Yeah, did he fall on a sword?
Dave, I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
Because when he was asked if he talked to Bryce, his immediate response, Dombrowski, his immediate response was, yeah, we already talked about that. We talked about that. That was weeks ago. We talked about that. We had a conversation. I said that weeks ago.
So it should be over.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He was annoyed that he was asked the same question he was asked weeks ago because he was asked about it. He said, yes, they had a conversation. What the question should have been was, hey, in the conversation with Bryce, do you feel good about where you guys are right now? Was he upset? Is he still upset? Because it's pretty clear he's still upset about it.
He's definitely still upset, yeah.
And I think this is it. This is where he got it off his chest, and then he moves on.
Well, they got to figure out a way to move forward because he's not going anywhere.
He's not.
No.
All right, so we have a lot of people wanted, it seemed like Bryce was blaming everybody else for last season. Here's on the podcast where he's taking blame for last season. Listen.
Obviously, we didn't have the postseason we wanted to. We got beat. It didn't end the way we wanted to. And I know all those things. And if you want to blame somebody, I don't mind you blaming me. I didn't play well. I didn't have my best series. And I'm totally fine taking the blame for anything that happens. It comes with, the territory and things like that. But things like that just don't motivate me to the extent, I know I need to be better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I get that. I need to have a great year this year. And I plan to do that. I don't plan to not have a great year.
Yeah, I just want to put my arm around Bryce and say, listen.
To extent.
Listen.
You almost said extend.
It's not. Listen, Bryce. He wasn't trying to blame you. He certainly wasn't taking blame. That's for sure. Dave Dombrowski wasn't sitting up there saying, damn it, you know what? If I would have done something a little bit different, maybe we could have won. I would have blamed myself if I was Dave Dombrowski. He wasn't doing that at all. I don't necessarily know if he was blaming Bryce. He was definitely not blaming himself. That's for sure.
No doubt about it. You want to talk about this now?
We're kind of.
I can.
Yeah, but if you can do it in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Why don't we do this? We have the news at noon coming up with Trish.
Yeah, I may sit out for that.
Okay, and then you can.
But I'll give you the update before that.
All right, you doing all right?
Not really.
No. Okay. Do you need to go home? You're not doing all right?
I don't know yet.
Okay. All right. Well, just chill out right there. You're good.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll update everybody when we come back.
News at noon with Trish is coming up next, and we'll talk to Jason as well. News at noon. What do you have today there, Patricia?
We got some college baseball talk. We have some Cowboys talk. Jerry Jones at it again, man.
And Quinn Hughes, who I am a huge fan of. I know all his entire career and everything. That's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another new coach. I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are expected to hire in-house and promote pass game coordinator Parks Frazier to quarterbacks coach for next season. This will be Jalen Hurts' sixth quarterback coach in his 6-year career with the Birds. Jeremy Fowler joined the show earlier and discussed how the Eagles plan to handle a possible trade with A.J. Brown.
It clearly was an issue last year, and the contract is a bit of a hurdle, but it's not something that they can't get out of it. There are going to be avenues for them to at least look into it, and I think they will at the very least listen.
We'll talk to Jeff Mosher at 1 p.m., and we will keep you updated on any additional moves the Eagles make. The Phillies are continuing their spring training. They'll take on the Pirates in their first spring training game of the season Sunday afternoon. The Sixers have off tonight as the All-Star break wrapped up Sunday. Over the break, they signed guard Cam Payne and are expected to sign forward Jabari Walker to a 2-year deal. Sixers are back in action versus the Hawks on Thursday. Flyers head coach Rick Tocchet and Team Canada, along with Team USA, have advanced to the quarterfinals in the Olympics. Those games will be played Thursday. Both of their opponents still to be determined. This update is brought to you by IHOP. IHOP's value menu is here. Enjoy breakfast favorites like pancakes, eggs, and bacon, French toast with sausage, or a cheesy omelet with pancakes, all for just $6. Go to your happy plates with the $6 IHOP value menu. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Kincade and Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m. Middays with Marks, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Unfiltered with Ricky Bowe and Bill Colarulo, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The best sports talk for the best sports fans.
The Fanatic. Jason Martinez is here. He's got zapped a little bit there. Your microphone's on, so that's why I'm inviting you to talk.
Yeah, I'm here.
You all right?
Not great right
now. All right, news at noon's going to come up here in 5 minutes. What's going on with you, Jay?
So I had talked about a rise in my CEA level. So they moved up my CT scans and MRI, and they were unchanged. But I had a procedure last Friday called a flexsigmoidoscopy, and they found a 4-centimeter tumor, a different tumor. So my other one was gone. I think it was kind of like hiding behind the scar tissue. And she found it in the examination. So I had surgery on Monday to remove that part of my colon. It explains a lot because I've mentioned to you off the air that like over like a month now, I've had no energy.
Yeah, but I haven't been feeling well.
Yeah, and it's just like I've tried to manufacture energy by going to the gym or, doing stuff, and nothing works. And when it comes on and you get zapped, like it comes on at literally the blink of an eye. Like I could have fallen asleep when you played the Bryce Harper cut.
Yep.
I shut my eyes for a second and your whole body just hurts. Like everything hurts and you're uncomfortable, it's draining, and you just have no energy. Like I had to tap out of a Flyers game after 2 periods one night when it hit me, and went home, and literally by the time I got home and put my head on the pillow, I was out for 12 hours.
Right.
Just boom, gone. And that's how I'm feeling right now.
So Monday you're getting a tumor removed, and what about the cancer itself? What are the most recent?
Well, I have no spread. It's isolated to this now 4-centimeter reoccurrence. So there's a high chance of reoccurrence with the protocol that I did without having a surgery. With the surgery, I will be considered cured.
Right.
Which I could never get to before. I could only get to where I was, which was NED, no evidence of disease, and I was clear.
Without surgery, they just monitor you, and if everything's good, everything's good.
Months.
If something gets
it's watch and wait protocol, it's called.
Okay.
And with this, I'll have a follow-up colonoscopy in a year, 3 years, and 5 years.
Okay.
So
you'll have this done, and that really, going forward, it gives you some
then I just have
relief.
to recover from the initial surgery and then a follow-up, more minor surgery to reconnect my plumbing.
So you're gonna be out for off your feet for a while.
They said only a week. Yeah. I'll be in the hospital for 4 to 6 days, and then I'll start my recovery from home. Or She said you'll be able to go back to work the next week. I heard the recovery is not too bad. So we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out. I'll have to deal with an inconvenience of which I won't bring up in the air exactly what it is, but I'll have a bag.
Yeah, some stuff.
Yeah. So, and then that'll be reversed, and hopefully my bowel function will go back to. She said some semblance of normal, and I said define normal, and she said like it was before, and I said that was never normal.
Right.
So,
right.
Hence where I am, but yeah, right now not feeling good.
Damn, dude.
I think my color probably looks a little off, and
you look a little better now.
Yeah,
I was
a couple minutes ago. Yeah,
a little bit worried about you going.
Yeah,
going down there for a second.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. You can sit there. You can go sit on the couch.
So that's the update.
That's the update. You'd put it on social media. Last week you were on. I didn't know if you wanted to announce it then or whatever, but we're all thinking about you. We're all with you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you.
It's a real bitch, this cancer thing.
Jeez, man. But you're beating it. You're killing it.
Yeah, it's trying to kill me. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the who was it that just recently died from
James Vanderbeek.
Yeah, geez, man. And I hear that, and I think about you immediately.
Same exact thing I had. He dealt with it for 3 years, and that's like this. Like we talked about the one time, the coach from Harvard High that passed away, that was diagnosed the same time as I was, and was stage 3B, which is exactly what I was, and rectosigmoid cancer, and that crushed me. That hit me hard. Like I don't know James Vanderbeek, obviously, and the thing that really hit me about it too, as I saw people posting about it, is this guy was a famous actor. Was on a hit TV show, did movies, and they have a GoFundMe for his kids.
Yeah, I saw that.
And, what it does to you, not just physically, mentally, and emotionally, financially, everything. It's an absolute horror story.
Well, there's that light.
I'm living in.
The tunnel's there. There's a light.
Yeah.
And
then I can't wait to get there.
And you'll be there soon.
Yeah. I got some work to do, but even though it may not look like it right now at this moment.
Well, Trish, she looks great all of a sudden. The color's back.
Yeah.
You do look great.
I was peaked for a couple minutes there, though, wasn't I? I had to take my hat off. Like, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
But, the thing is this old broken down goalie's got some fight left in him. So
look at you.
Yeah. So
right.
We're ready to go a few more.
You look like Bob Froze over there.
Yeah, Frosty.
All right, well, do what you got to do, because if people are saying, all right, Jason, Good luck to you. Thank you.
I'd love to come hang in the chat, D-Flyers 100. But, I'm going to go sit on the couch for a couple minutes while you guys do the news at noon and see
how you do.
See how I recover here in the next couple minutes.
All right. Well, because it is.
But I'll be listening.
It is time for the news at noon.
This city needs its news.
Now, it's time for
I'd like to be remembered as a good newsman.
the news at noon
That's the coolest story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane.
with Ray Dunn.
All right, Ray is in Charlotte having some Bojangles, so it's Patricia here today doing the news at noon, and we'll jump right into it. Talking about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, who we know is in a 30-year drought, has not been to a Super Bowl, has maybe won 2 or 3, I think, playoff games within the last 30 years. With that being said, Jerry Jones was asked about it, was asked what can they do, how can they get out of this drought, and once again, he just had a great answer. Not as bad as maybe the PR team. They're like, okay, maybe I could take a break. I don't have to make a statement. But try to listen to this, Marks, and see if you can understand where he's getting at. Because some people on Twitter has misinterpreted what he's comparing it to. So take a listen.
So the point is, in this day in the NFL, you can go from a pumpkin to a carrot,
Right on.
so to speak.
Yeah.
And you can do it in a year, or you can do it in 2 years. I've been there. I understand how it's done. I understand how it's not done.
The reporter's my favorite. Yeah, right on. He doesn't know what he's saying.
And guess what? It's not going to get any better. Well, it's going to get better for us.
Yes.
But typically, rich people live longer, and he's rich, and he's not going anywhere.
No.
Would anybody be surprised an 88-year-old, a 90-year-old Jerry Jones is still at the league meetings talking? And he's only going to get worse. It's great.
And won't do anything. But a lot of people thought he said carrot, a pumpkin to a carrot, myself included. But he said carriage. Like Cinderella, which at first, people on Twitter were like, how dare you say this? A pumpkin can't become a carrot just because they're both orange. But he said a pumpkin to a carriage, which I don't really think is realistic because that is a fairy tale.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. Everybody just enjoy while Jerry's owning the Cowboys, because at some point he's going to have to sell, or he's not going to be around. It might be 20 years from now where they have somebody else running it. But it's great because, the Cowboys, they're always winning games and doing stuff like that, but you never worry about them winning Super Bowls.
No, they're almost always there. And that has been the same thing with the Giants for many years, too. Are they going to get there? Eventually, they'll be good again, right? And it hasn't checked out.
Yep.
But let's move over to college baseball because Tony Vitello, former Tennessee baseball coach, now the manager for the Giants. And as spring training begun, he wanted to start his own press conference and clear things up with the media. So he asked the media a question before the media could even say anything. Take a listen.
When did you first think I was taking this job? Or do you remember that far back?
Yeah, it was about 4 days before it actually happened, 5 days before.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because that was not reality, at all. I don't know if Buster would feel the same way, but that wasn't the case. The final blow was about 4 days later.
Not reality. And I think this goes off of, I've watched him coach at LSU in Tennessee. He has a big personality, so to speak. He fit well with Tennessee. But a lot of people in San Francisco are very upset. A lot of the news articles are saying he needs to move on. There's too much to focus on. Why are you worried about how it ended in Tennessee?
Right. I mean, the reality is that he's gonna have to have good players that, and I firmly believe he's gonna do a great job. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to win because you need great players, and the Giants need to do a better job at getting great players. But I firmly believe he can win. This is a really interesting hire.
It is.
It is.
And I think that it could, obviously, if you talk to someone, a media member is going to report it and say, this is what I'm hearing, that he might take the job. So for him to get mad was maybe because he hadn't talked to his players in Tennessee yet, and he was taking that personally. But he should have really just moved on. Again, it's kind of like the same thing if Bryce Harper just called Dave Dombrowski, we end it there. Same thing here. Did you have to say that to the media? Focus on your job now.
And going back to the marriage conversation, it's ready to be moved on from when the party's ready to move on from it. I could say you got to move on.
Yes, and one article was literally saying that the San Francisco Standard, it's time for them to pivot because they were very upset that Vitello went on and asked the media this question when he's with the Giants now. He's not with Tennessee. That it's a done deal.
Right.
But moving on, talking about the Olympics a little bit with Quinn Hughes. In my doom scrolling a few days ago, I see all these pictures of Quinn Hughes. And it has just continued throughout this Olympic run. That so much so that Quinn Hughes himself has said he is seeing ghosts. So I don't know if you saw the pictures, John, but there are multiple pictures of Quinn Hughes just staring out into space when he's with like regular season times, but now in the Olympics when he's just on the ice staring where we don't know where he's sitting down staring, and people are like, he's seeing ghosts. There was this whole rumor, and then in an article he himself was like, yeah, clearly I'm seeing ghosts, right? So it's an interesting take for this Olympic run.
I'm usually pretty zoned in on what's going on with myself and trying to get ready to do what I need to do. Sometimes you hear funny stuff out there on the ice. But yeah, as people say, I'm usually seeing ghosts, so I'm usually focused on myself. So yeah, no, it's...
I get it. If there was a camera on me 24/7 and it could pan to me at any time, I'd be seeing ghosts too.
Yeah, he's in his own.
But there are, I looked at one comment section, and on TikTok you can make pictures in the comment section. And there was just all these different pictures, 10 plus pictures of Quinn Hughes just staring into space.
So I'm watching one video right now. I don't even think he's looking at anything. He's thinking.
Yes.
So he's fixated on something, and he's just thinking there's something that's in his head, and he does. It looks crazy when he's doing it.
Yes, and he's focused. And I get it, because he's probably trying to tune everything out and focus on what's at hand.
Well, that's the news at noon. Thank you, Patricia. And I know this because there's not a bigger fan of Quinn Hughes in the Philadelphia area than me. Know everything about him. So that's the news at noon.
You have a fun fact about him?
If I Google him, I have a fun fact about him. But yeah, so the hockey action in the Olympics is heating up. The women and the Canadian women are going for gold, as that's been a pretty lopsided event as far as those two teams. And the men will be competing here. So it'll be like, if you watched a lot of the Olympics, Trish, Martinez was actually talking about this with me earlier off the air. He's like, "Do you get in the Olympics?" And every time the Olympics come up, my kids, because they hear about it in school, are all excited about it. So we watch the first day, and it's like, this is the greatest, yay, Daddy, yay, yay. So I DVR it, and then they don't ever want to watch it again. So that's pretty much what we've done again this year.
Yeah, you get too far in. You're like, how much can I handle of this?
Well, they just don't have interest. I'm like, we'll watch, and it'll be cool, and then they'll be like, no, we want to watch another episode of this. And I'm like, we're not watching any more of this. So if the TV's going to be on, we're putting the Olympics on. That was all weekend, and that was yesterday. So I'll put that on the TV, and they're watching some of it. But nothing's really grabbed them yet.
I like it. I like curling a lot, so I'll watch that. And I've even looked into where I can get curling lessons because I think it would be fun to be able to say, I know how to curl. Same thing. I appreciate Winter Olympics because it's things I could definitely never do.
Yeah, Jason was saying he likes summer better, and he wonders why. I probably like the summer better. I don't know.
I do like summer, but I think, okay, no, I can't swim at that level, but I can swim. No, I can't run at that level, but I can run. So I guess I can understand more of how you get good at this. I watch some Winter Olympic sports, and you're like, how do you find out you are good at this sport?
Yeah, you would. I mean, if you're a skier, maybe you think they're like, hey, well, at least I can ski. But I'm not doing jumps or any of that stuff.
Or even like bobsledding. Like, what kid is like, I want to get into bobsledding when I'm younger or when I'm older, and then becomes an Olympian for it?
Yeah, who does that?
I don't know.
How do you get to that point?
Apparently, I guess you have to have some money, and your parents maybe are interested. Like, even curling itself, who says, yes, I want to curl? Apparently me, you're right. But I'm a little late.
I would imagine most of the curlers are from areas that there's not a lot of curling places in the Philadelphia area.
You're right.
I'm sure
there is one in Warminster, I believe.
Is there?
Yes, there's a curling club.
Really?
Yes, and you can do a 3-day class to learn how to curl.
So you're being like, yeah, like, oh, I was thinking about doing it.
I've considered it. Yes.
You considered Googling it. I don't know if you really considered doing it.
I was at my cousin's house, and we were all like, we were debating about if you like curling or not.
Right.
Oh, you got me up.
My cousins are like, boom, curling, right, Jason? Curling.
You can go to Aston and do it as well at Iceworks.
So are you a curler?
They have an Olympic size. They have 4 sheets of ice there. One of them is an Olympic size, and it's got the curling circles on it.
That is so cool.
Which when we played on it, when I played on that ice as a goalie in men's league, first of all, it's huge.
Is it?
The surface is way bigger, and it throws your eyes off big time because of your spatial awareness. and all of those circles on the friggin' ice make you feel like you're in a different spot in the net.
Right.
Because you're using reference points of where the circle is, the dot, and then there's all these extra dots on the ice that screw you up.
Oh.
It's like playing shuffleboard at the bar.
So are you a good curler?
I've never curled.
Oh, so you never did it? You
No,
just
but if you're going to be a curler, though, well, that nap did me a little good. I just shut my eyes for like 5 minutes and I feel way better. You got to figure out what you want to be as a curler. Are you the one that rolls that curls the stone, or are you a sweeper?
I would be a sweeper.
Oh, you'd be a sweeper.
You don't do both?
No,
No,
there's
you
two
can't.
different people.
Oh, I don't know. I never really watched it. For all the curling
How have you
talk,
not watched curling? The girls that do it, first of all, rockets.
you should never be anything that I say. You should never be surprised if I've never watched this or know anything about that. Like when people were amazed,
It looks fun.
I didn't know who Quinn Hughes was. I've never heard his name before. Everybody got mad at me for it.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, I don't know. It looks fun. I see the guys that do the sweeping, like
yeah, they're trying to guide the curl, the whatever the thing's called, the quate. I guess maybe it's a quate. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like you play shuffleboard at the bar, right?
Yes, I love.
It's the same theory. It's a combination of shuffleboard and bocce
on the ice.
On the ice,
right?
And they got these special little spike shoes that they wear.
Really?
And and did you see that there was cheating? And they were cursing at each other.
I did not see that.
Big fight.
The one guy would let go of the curling thing and then push it with his hand, and you can't do that. And the other guy from, I think it was Norway or something, called him out and said, "I'll show you video after." And he said, and they're FUing each other on the Olympics.
So that's awesome.
I like that, though, because if you look at Olympic history, they used to do a lot worse. Like, it used to be massive brawls and fights, and, like, they would stop war for the Olympics. So I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, I don't agree with the yelling at each other.
Oh, why not?
Well,
on the basketball court, on the basketball court, they're doing that. You think in hockey they're not trying to kill each other and cursing at each other?
Yes, 4 Nations last year?
Yeah.
That was intense.
They almost murdered each other 7 seconds into the game.
I'm all for it.
It was Sweden that accused Canada of cheating.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And they were dropping F-bombs.
But what were they doing to cheat?
You roll it, there's a handle on top of the stone.
All right.
And you let it go, and you do it very gradually, because obviously it slides on very clean ice. And this guy would push it with his finger on the stone after.
Ooh.
And you can see it on camera, clear as day. And the other guy's like, "I'll show you the videos," because he called him out for cheating. And now there's all these memes of like a hockey puck trying to get pushed over the goal line with a finger.
That's funny.
Yeah, so curling's a big thing.
All right, so Rick, my buddy Rick on the text line says that a member of the 2026 U.S. Olympic women's curling team is from the Philadelphia area, and he sent me a screenshot. He's correct. Taylor Anderson Heidi.
Where's she from?
Broomall. She's from Delco.
Okay.
Where my wife is from.
Delco
Broomall.
represent.
Yep.
Yeah,
her and her
there
identical
you go.
twin sister are known for their start in the Philly curling scene, later becoming multiple-time U.S. national champions.
Did it say where they
love it.
curled at? They probably curled at Aston at Iceworks.
I would assume, despite now living in Minnesota, she retains her home membership with the Philadelphia Curling Club, wherever that is. There we go.
I'd be totally into it with beers.
Learn to curl at the Philadelphia Curling Club in Paoli.
Okay, so maybe they just have like these sheets of ice where it's just that.
Free.
And it's not a hockey rink that they
Trish is
use.
now rethinking her media career.
This I am. I might.
I want to be a curling
in
announcer.
4 years, you might see me on the Olympics.
You could do it.
I like the sweeper, though. Looks like you're jerking something. I didn't mean it that way. That's not
Never
why
mind.
I watch.
My career is over.
All right,
Trish's career ended before it started.
All right, there you go. All right. But I know you're enjoying the Olympics, right? No?
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Well, I mean, the hockey's about to get good.
Yep.
The preliminary kind of sucks. It's like, Canada kicking the living teeth
there's
out
a big
of
difference between
France.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There hasn't been a lot of those upsets. Like Czechia is not like like they won in, I think, 98.
Really?
When they had Dominik Hasek, and that Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia, maybe even at that point.
I saw was it Latvia that they played, the United States played? I saw a lot of that or some of that game.
Well, there's a flyer that was supposed to play on the Latvian team, Rodrigo Abels, but he got hurt, so he's not playing for him.
Rodrigo doesn't sound like a Latvian name.
Yeah, Rodrigo Abels. Big boy.
All right, 610-632-0975. Is that the Cowboy Gym?
You want an interesting fact about Quinn Hughes? I'll give you one because I know she asked for it. I was really listening when I was over there.
What?
Catatonic.
What?
She said, do you have a fun fact? Quinn Hughes' brother, Jack, plays for the New Jersey Devils and is dating Tate McRae. Is that interesting enough?
No.
I didn't realize they were siblings. I didn't realize they were related.
And he has another sibling that plays for the Devils as well, named Luke. So there's 3 Hughes in the league, like the Sutter brothers.
Oh, wow. Ron Sutter.
Rich. Or twins.
Right.
Yeah.
And who's the other one?
There's Dwayne.
Dwayne Sutter.
Who was the coach also for the Kings.
Ron Sutter was a flyer. Left
so
winger,
was Rich.
Right? Rich was too?
And they had Ron and Rich Sutter on their jersey on the back. Because you could put our Sutter.
Right, they did.
Yeah. At one time, they had both of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's good
and,
knowledge.
and by the way, I saw Ron last year. He was in for something. He's a scout for Calgary, which is where they're from. And he looks exactly the frickin' same. Like, he doesn't look like he's aged. He
Did
got
he
a
have
little
a
bit of
mustache?
grass. No.
Did he used to have a mustache, the 80s stash, or no?
That was Mel Bridgman had the big
Okay,
stash.
all right.
Yeah. Or Lanny McDonald had, like, the big crazy one, like DeBella.
All right, well, coming up.
I think I'm good now.
So, Jason, there's a guy on the line. His name's Cowboy Jim, and he's really irritating. And I haven't talked to him in a while.
So he's a Cowboy fan that lives here?
Yes. Yes.
I can't think of anything more irritating as a matter
Oh,
of
well, you haven't met Cowboy Jim because he's.
I remember Cowboy Dave.
No, not Cowboy Dave.
For the Darth Vader team, the whole thing.
Not Taylor, the Cowboy fan, who's old school for me. So we'll talk to Cowboy Jim. Also, you got to hear this. I know that everybody's ripping PTI, but it was really stupid, and it's about Bryce Harper. So we'll play it for you coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another new coach. I'm Patricia Caputo with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are expected to hire in-house and promote pass game coordinator Parks Frazier to quarterbacks coach for next season. This will be Jalen Hurts' 6th quarterback coach in his 6-year career with the Birds. Jeremy Fowler joined the show earlier and gave insight on how Howie Roseman goes about his offseason deals.
My understanding is teams will hear from Howie, even if Howie's not necessarily going to be able to make a deal. He's going to check in on it, and he's going to be sort of a threat looming out there, whether it's perceived or real. Because of that, he's technically involved in every deal, even when he's not.
We'll talk to Jeff Mosher at 1 p.m., and we'll keep you updated on any additional moves that the Eagles make. Spring training continues for the Phillies in Clearwater with their first full squad practice Monday. Phillies will take on the Blue Jays in their first spring training game of the season Saturday afternoon. Sixers have off tonight as the All-Star break wrapped up Sunday. Over the break, they signed guard Campaign and are expected to sign forward Jabari Walker to a 2-year deal. Sixers back in action versus the Hawks Thursday at home in Philadelphia. Flyers head coach Rick Tocchet and Team Canada, along with Team USA, have advanced to the quarterfinals in the Olympics. Those games will be played Thursday. Their opponents still to be determined. This update is brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Service First. HVAC, 0% financing, 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more, ServiceFirstHVAC.com.
Mosher coming up at 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock, Jeff Mosher, Inside the Birds.
All right.
Philly
Thanks to everybody on the YouTube comment section. Very kind.
Yes, my buddy Len sending positive vibes to you, Jason.
Thank you, Len.
As is everybody else.
Well, here's the thing. Like, people will be like, well, why don't you just go home? Or why are you even working when you don't feel well? I'm tired of the cancer running my freaking life.
Right.
Like, this is me saying F off to it. Like, that's my way of doing it. It's me taking control. I've had to tap out a few times. Certainly when I was in chemo. I mean, there was one time I didn't leave my bedroom for 11 days. I couldn't go up and down the stairs. But, like, I'm going to get back to work next week as quick, not next week, the week after the surgery, as quick as I can. Why? Number one, I love what I do for a living. Like, I don't have a job where I go, well, I hate doing this for a living.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are miserable in their jobs, and this is like any other job. Sometimes you don't feel like getting up off the couch to go to work. Or you don't feel like, God, I got to talk about this or, whatever. But
you also need some level of normalcy to your life, and getting up and going to work is that.
Yeah, and there's a social cancer's very isolating. Like, people would like send me messages or leave me messages on my phone and say, "Oh, you don't have to call me back or anything. Just wanted to check on you." I called everybody back. I talked on the phone more when I had cancer than I have in the past 5 years.
Right.
Like, I would talk to people for like an hour on the phone. When's the last time you talked to somebody for an hour on the phone?
Never.
See? It's like high school when like you're like
a girl in high school.
Yeah,
on
like
a landline.
You're just yapping on the landline, right?
Yep.
And I caught because I was tired of just watching freaking what's this show that I was watching?
Leave It to Beaver?
No, because they're like 20-minute segments. Pawn Stars.
Oh yeah, they go especially if
they're
you're
on
watching
YouTube.
them on stream. Yeah, if you're streaming them, you can. Yeah,
I couldn't watch movies to fall asleep.
Well, Pawn Stars pretty good. It got bad at the end of it. I used to watch Pawn Stars all the time.
Well, the thing is, I started to realize that I have a lot of stuff worth a lot of money.
Well,
that I didn't know I had. So I started like picking through my house.
So you started pawning stuff off from
I
your
haven't
house?
pawned anything.
Oh, damn.
But I found I found it. I don't even know when I got it. A CD from Kiss, the band Kiss, with all 4 original members signed it.
Right.
Like, Ace Frehley's dead. He's not signing anything else. You know what I mean? I found a magazine with Zakk Wylde and Ozzy on the cover, Guitar World, and Ozzy and Zakk Wylde signed it. Like, I didn't even know I had it. And I'm finding this stuff, and I'm like,
So what do you think Corey would offer you for that item?
I don't know. Well, I can tell you right now, Ozzy ain't signing anything else. You know?
That's true.
I have a signed Dimebag guitar, obviously, and he's dead, so that's worth a lot. That's worth like $8,000.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
When I lived in the city, an old city, we were just down there the other day because we went to the car show, my wife and my son, and we were driving by our old apartment, and my wife reminded me, remember that guy broke into your apartment and stole all my change. Meanwhile, there was a guitar hanging on the wall worth like $7,000.
Right, worth thousands. Well, yeah, what's he going to do with a guitar running down the street with that?
Yeah, he's not going to be able to go to the Mulberry Market and get something to eat with my guitar.
All right. Well, I just want to pull up because all the off-season things that you see. I read one ESPN.com article where they were talking about like MVPs, who your picks, and they had like 11 different writers or blah 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 that are giving their picks, and like the number of Dak Prescott MVP people out there
it's so
is
absurd.
Oh my God, Dak Prescott, he's fine.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. He's a good quarterback. If I had needed a quarterback and Dak Prescott was available, depending on who else was out there, I would take Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott's winning me a Super Bowl, but that might be more because of the Cowboys than Dak Prescott. But he plays a part of it. So, like, I was just like, all right, well, you guys keep doing that while the real teams actually win, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the NFC East this year, the odds on the NFC East, the division winner, the Eagles by far are the favorite at -115. The Cowboys at +275, and then Washington 550, the Giants 625. So the Cowboys, that's right where they should be, right? Like the Eagles should be the favorite. The Cowboys should be after that. But to win the Super Bowl, this is how little people think. Because doesn't Vegas normally have to account for everybody wanting to bet the Cowboys? Even with
absolutely.
Even with that being the thing, the Cowboys right now to win the Super Bowl are plus 3,300. Right around the Buccaneers, just behind the Bengals. The Colts, the Buccaneers, and the Cowboys are in the same department. So that tells you what people really think of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
An interesting thing to talk about because their owner is an absolute maniac. But as far as winning a Super Bowl, man, they'll be lucky to make the playoffs, Jason.
No doubt. They're a team that's not in that mix, but because they're such a big entity and personality and controversial, then yeah.
Let's go to Cowboy Jim. Cowboy Jim's checking in about his team. Cowboy Jim, how are you, buddy?
You making me wait to sit and listen to this kind of stuff? You haven't changed one bit.
What's up,
like
buddy?
Dr. Frankenstein to his Frankenstein.
I'll put you back on hold in a second there.
Long talkers you with? Who are these people?
So this is Jason Martinez, and then Trish is my producer today, but normally I have Ray Dunn. That's my producer.
Yeah, anti-Cowboy fans just spewing their trash.
Well, we live in Philadelphia, dude.
What? It doesn't matter. Look at Jerry. He's a landman.
It does matter. You're a fraud that lives in Philadelphia and roots for a team because you need attention. You didn't get hugged enough as a kid or something.
Dollars. He's won 3 Super Bowls.
So's Jeff Lurie.
Yeah,
he hasn't won a Super Bowl. If you want to watch a Super Bowl, you got to watch it on VHS, Holmes.
Oh my God, I haven't heard that one before.
Wow.
You know what? I'd rather be an annoying caller than a long talker like you. Okay, all right.
All right. I'd rather get paid to talk than sit on the phone line and not get paid.
Uh-oh.
How about that?
Oh my God, you're a genius. You're a genius.
I know.
Why don't you give Robert Kraft a pro? You know what? Why does Robert Kraft get a pass? I mean,
what does Robert Kraft have to do with this? I give him points.
All right, you guys got to get along because I'm friends with Cowboy Jim. He's a good man, other than being a Cowboy fan. He's annoying, but
well, I just have to be annoying. I mean, that's all.
So, are you a fan of the other teams though, in Philly?
The Flyers.
Okay, you just won me over.
Jason does the pre and post for the Flyers. He does a daily Flyers podcast. He works for the organization, so you guys should be friends.
Yeah. See,
no, I don't. I got plenty of friends. I don't need any more friends. Yeah.
So I'm trying to extend an olive branch, and you shoot me down.
So, Cowboy Jim, are you still in the aviation business?
Dude, I am still taking the Eagles, flying them back and forth to their games. Just the other day, I had Landon Dickerson on my flight. I got a lot of info from him because we're buds. I've known him since he first started.
For people that don't know, Trish, Cowboy Jim, and he started giving us more information as the days went. He actually, so he is a flight attendant for an airline flight attendant. And for the Eagles charter. So he's calling my shows, saying all these things about the Eagles, and meanwhile he's on the charter flight.
So he's an insider, is what you're telling me.
He's an insider, which is nuts. They didn't throw you off yet, Jim?
No, are you kidding me? Jordan Mailata sees me down at Chicky and Pete's, gives me a big hug, calls me, "Hey Jimbo, how's it going?" Landon the other day, I was talking to him for 30 minutes. I found all about if he's retiring. I found all kinds of stuff.
What, is he retiring?
He is not retiring.
Okay.
He doesn't understand where this came from because you all talk about Lane Johnson retiring. So I think he got mixed in there. Now,
well, he's been so banged up too.
Landon was out in L.A. going to a specialist because the guy's had 13 surgeries, and he's banged up, but he is not retiring. He's coming back. But now, as a Cowboy fan, I was sitting there telling him, like, listen, you got plenty. You and your wife could just go buy an island. Just go away. You just be done. It's okay.
Yeah. And you know what?
Buy an island.
And you know what? At some point, he may decide to do that. But I mean, it's interesting that and actually to report that Cowboy Jim is reporting that Landon Dickerson's not going to retire. He doesn't know where it came from. I mean, it's actually the best information I've heard out there on Landon Dickerson because I trust that you
put that in the update, Trish.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure Scott would be okay with that.
Right. Source Cowboy Jim.
Right. All right. So listen, Cowboy Jim, it's good to talk to you, buddy. You know where to find me now, right?
I know where to find you now, and I'll just be as annoying as I always am, and I'll talk to the other morons too. So,
hey, Cowboy Jim, do me a favor. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to waste mine.
Oh,
appreciate
anytime. I'll be doing it many more times too. So,
wait.
go enjoy your Flyers and your Phillies and your Bryce Harper and all your spoiled other little brats in Philadelphia. So good luck, you losers.
Oh, why are you talking about Bryce Harper?
You're one of the losers. You live here.
All right, there he hung up. He dropped the microphone. Cowboy Jim.
Boy, what a just a wealth of freaking fountain of joy he is.
You actually sounded like how Howard used to talk to him.
It's just Bob, you're on WIP.
Maybe you guys could be like Elaine and George.
But he that's a great one, actually. The Cowboy Jim's actually very he is very irritating, but once you get to know him a little bit.
He's even more irritating?
Correct. He's even more irritating, but you kind of like him. And I believe
I like the byplay with him.
I believe him with what he said about Landon Dickerson, because he does know all these guys from the flights.
Yeah,
and he does he never shuts up. So I'm sure he talks to everybody. See, the thing with Dickerson is, I remember when they drafted him. It was actually another one that I was dead wrong on. I hated the draft pick of Dickerson because he was coming off a torn ACL. Guy can't stay healthy. Now we saw that. But his first however many years in the league, he was hurt, but he played through it. But when you have legitimate injuries, you can't play through an ACL. You can't play through broken bones and things like that. He was banged up last year, man.
Ugh.
He just was.
It was like 9 different things, going all the way back to the preseason, eating the Uncrustables on the sideline.
Right, yeah. All right, 610-6320. Actually, let's go to Mike. Mike in Lower Providence has something on the Phillies. Mike, what do you got? How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing, man? You guys got a great show. I don't usually call all the time, but
thanks for calling.
Yeah, no problem. I used to call Ant a little bit, but the Phillies, I know you guys got stories you got to run, but Bryce needs to grow up a little bit. Come on, man.
Yeah,
you're still holding on to that. You know what I mean? But that's not really why I called. Jason, how you doing, brother?
I'm hanging in there, man.
I heard your story, and it compelled me to call because, first of all, I give you mad respect because I recently stopped playing in the men's league, but I skated on the Wells Fargo ice, which was really cool. It's a great way to work out, but it's hard when we're old. I'm 56.
Yeah, I stopped playing at 50. Yeah.
So I got respect, when you tell stories about that. But I just want to let you know, you got a real positive message because my dad, he's 82, and he has exactly the same thing that you're going through.
Yeah.
And not to get too graphic, but he has the bag, like you said, and he's still moving and grinding like no problem. He looks fine. He feels fine. And we're talking an 82-year-old man.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I just called to give you, a little insight because obviously you got to go through this procedure, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. And now they're getting ready to, as you say, reconnect the plumbing.
Yeah,
without getting
reverse
too
it.
graphic.
Yeah.
Reverse it at his age, and he's been doing great for the past.
Yeah, tell him to keep fighting,
7
man.
years
That's
now.
awesome to hear. I love hearing that, Mike. God bless your dad.
That's why I called. That's
Thank
why
you.
I called you, brother, man.
Yeah.
God bless you, and God bless everybody that works there. Love you guys.
Thanks,
Mike.
Peace.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's incredible. 82 going through that, and it's hard enough as it is. Look, as hard as it's going to be the surgery and everything, it ain't going to be nothing compared to chemo.
Yeah, you got it.
Ain't nothing compared to that.
It's good. He just said something about Bryce Harper that I really like. This, to me, is the best talking point, and we're going to have Mosher coming up at 1 o'clock, but I really want to get back into it. Does he need to grow up a little bit? Or is this just a natural reaction that
I think he wanted to defend himself.
Yeah, that he's entitled to have. We'll discuss it, because the one thing I don't want this to turn into we turn on Bryce Harper now. Because I don't think he didn't deserve that. If they're not playing well enough and they can't win a World Series, then that's one thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can call it yet that that's not what's going to happen. That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Middays with Marks.
The Fanatics.
He actually had. Let me read Ray. Read a text message of. Let me see here. Well, anyway, like Jeff definitely wants to get into kind of let's look around the NFC East a little bit.
Yeah,
because I'm
state of the division.
I'm seeing a lot of people with the Giants. They're kind of a sexy pick to take it
because of Harbaugh.
There's always a team that no one thinks is going to take that step. They're playing a last place schedule. They have some good young talent. They have money to spend in free agency. They get a coach that comes in and immediately it turns things around.
He's competent.
He's competent. He's more than competent.
Probably the GM's still there.
Right, but like I think the GM's also like, hey, John, what do you need?
Yeah.
Let me show you I can work with you.
Yeah.
And then next year he's gone for Harbaugh's own guy. But
yeah, Harbaugh's got more leverage there than the GM does.
Correct.
And this guy is going to be kissing his ass to try and become one of his guys because he knows that his future will be tied to him.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you're hoping that he says I like working with John Harbaugh says I like working with him.
Yeah, because if at the end of the year Harbaugh goes, I think we need Ozzie Newsome or whatever, then he's going to get a new guy.
Yep. All right.
Give me Mark Bavaro.
Can he still play tight end?
Yeah,
it'd be good to get him in Philly.
Him and Shockey.
Bavaro was like early, not mid '90s, but early
80s.
'90s.
He
Well,
was on
with the Eagles.
Oh, with the Eagles, yeah.
He was a beast, man.
Yeah.
Bavaro actually reminds me a lot of Goddard, where they're monsters and they don't mind contact. Yeah.
Yeah.
More like athletic, but big.
Yeah. Strong. Big, strong guy.
Mark Bavaro was, let me see when he played with the Eagles.
92, maybe?
6'4", 245, and he was...
Back then.
He played 93 and 94.
Okay, 93, 94.
So, yeah, I knew it wasn't quite mid.
How many years with the Giants?
He was with the Giants 84? From 85 to 90.
So he won 2 Super Bowls.
He didn't play because of an injury. Went to Cleveland, and then he was with the Eagles. He had 43 receptions in 1993, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I love Bavaro. He was good.
There's some good tight ends here from Pete Retzlaff.
I just took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, Bavar. But then you had Chad Lewis.
Yeah, John Spagnola back in the 1980s.
Keith Jackson.
Oh, Keith Jackson was good.
And
Bo Nelly.
And the run you've been on with Ertz, Selleck, Ertz,
Goddard.
And now Goddard. Yep. They've really been.
And now nobody.
And then who the heck is the next guy if Goddard's not here?
Right.
Yeah, man, we got to talk to Mosher about that. To me, he's a priority.
What does the position look like without Goddard?
Yeah. What do you think of the Commanders? Because they had a good year 2 years ago. Last year, with Jaden Daniels injured a lot, it just went so sideways. It's hard to be, you can win one year, but it's hard to, when people expect you to be a winner, to be a winner.
You know what happens? The ball that bounced the right way for you,
it all goes the other way.
It goes the other way.
Yeah.
The quarterback can't stay healthy.
Yep.
Defenses adjust. Your offensive coordinator doesn't adjust
like that with RG3 in the beginning?
Yeah. And it's not to say that Jaden Daniels isn't going to get back to being great, but how many quarterbacks have we seen that burst on the scene and they're never the same player? C.J. Stroud's going through the same thing down in Houston. They have to decide whether to give him a fifth-year option, which is crazy to think that that's even a consideration after his rookie season.
Yeah, because the league gets you on tape and they adjust. Can you adjust back?
Right.
It's like the pitcher's first run through Major League Baseball. They do it great. And then all of a sudden everybody's got a book, and it's like he gets touched up. The good ones are the ones that can adjust to the adjustment.
I would, if you made me decide right now, I would say Washington does not make the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah,
Is there 2 teams from the NFC East that do? Do the Cowboys?
Every year I expect the Cowboys to make the playoffs and lose in the playoffs
in the first round
because they always have talent.
Yep,
they're going to end up bringing back Pickens, so that offense is dangerous. Their defense. The Cowboys' problem isn't necessarily roster construction; it's having Jerry Jones involved in everything, which is just never going to work.
Yeah, it makes it messy.
Right?
There's just too the Eagles have noise around them, but usually it's pretty positive noise. AJ Brown was a little bit of just noisy. But the Cowboys always have just too much noise, and it's a distraction.
The chaos works for the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah.
Down in Dallas, the chaos is the owner. The chaos isn't the owner here. The chaos are the players.
The owner here speaks, twice a year?
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and he knows to stay out of the way. He has his meetings once a week and an influence, no doubt. But
he lets his guys do the job, and
he's hired Howie to do a job. Let him do his job.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. By the way, on the text line, Jason, you're getting a lot of support, including one texter, Trish, who said they're going through the same thing.
Oh, really?
I can imagine that, like, we come in, we do the show every day. You don't think about what everybody else is doing out there or what they're going through and everything else. And there's, like, cancer. There's very few people that you meet that haven't been affected by cancer one way or another.
Yeah.
Family, friends, themselves.
It's like, when you buy, like, a new brand of a car for a first time, like if you bought, like, a Volkswagen or whatever, and all of a sudden you see Volkswagens all over the road.
Right.
You're like, I thought I was getting something that people. Now you see them all over the place. That's what it's like having cancer. You have cancer, and you meet all these people that have cancer, and you just didn't know it. And I've made connections with people that I've never met, never spoke to before. I speak to them on the phone,
right,
and correspond with these people all the time. Like there's guys that I don't want to say some of their names because that played in the NHL that are dealing with what I'm dealing with. That reached out that didn't make it public. That I talk to once a week.
Right.
So, it's a hell of a team to play for. Not one I wanted to play for. Right. But it picked me. I didn't pick it.
Right. Yep.
And I think there's a reason it picked me. And it's to create awareness for people to go out and get their colonoscopy.
All right. Coming up, Jeff Mosher, Inside the Bird.
I'm going to ask Mosher if he had his colonoscopy.
I did. You know
I
what
know you did. I'm proud of you.
You know what happened with me? I was having issues with the hemorrhoids.
Internal?
And yes.
Ooh.
Yep. And so I go to the doctor and whatever.
Yep.
And the doctor was like, I'm not really worried about it. Like, if you wanted to get a colonoscopy just for peace of mind, you could do that. And I said, I want to do it for peace of mind.
Yeah.
So I went, had the colonoscopy. The guy who was administering the whatever it is to put you to sleep
anesthesiologist
was asking me how many wins I thought the Eagles were going to have because he recognized me as I was counting down. No joke, joke.
And you only made it to like 9.
And everything was good. And I got the clean bill of health, and they said you don't have to come again. I think I'm 50, which will be
another 5 years.
Yeah,
now.
Which will be next year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they gave me 10 years or I got it when I had it done. Anyway, but I'm like, no, you're good.
It's the leading cause of death in men and women now.
And the good thing is, it really is. I mean, they build the centers to do it because you come in, you get the worst part's doing the prep the night before and having to do all that with all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then once you get there, bing, bang, boom, you're done. You're home by the middle of the afternoon.
You don't even know they were there.
Yep.
You don't even know. Like I had this feeling like they were going to shove a Polaroid up my rear end. You know what I mean?
Well,
you'd be walking weird for a day.
You're asleep, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, well, they said a camera, so I'm thinking Polaroid.
No Polaroid.
The one step. It's going to print out a picture.
So it's a great message. Because really, I know guys are like, oh, no, I'm fine. Just get it checked out, man. It literally can save your life.
John, I have 3 of those boxes that you're supposed to take a deuce in,
right,
and send to Cologuard. I have 3 unused boxes in my garage. I was so in denial.
Wow.
Yeah. They kept telling me to do it because of my age, and I didn't do it.
No. Yeah, you're an old dude.
Because I'm an idiot.
All right, coming up, we have Jeff Mosher to discuss everything, including what this new offense is going to look like and what are the Giants going to look like and the Commanders. The Cowboys are probably going to look like the Cowboys. That's coming up next. Jeff Mosher, don't go anywhere.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another coach. I'm Patricia Caputo, and this update is brought to you by Papa John's, introducing new pan pizza from Papa John's. Order a medium one-topping pan pizza, just $11.99 when you download the Papa John's app or the papajohns.com. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. The Eagles are expected to hire in-house and promote pass game coordinator Parks Frazier to quarterbacks coach next season. This will be Jalen Hurts' 6th quarterback coach in his 6th-year career with the Birds. Jeremy Fowler joined the show earlier and discussed how the Eagles plan to handle a possible A.J. Brown trade.
It clearly was an issue last year, and the contract is a bit of a hurdle, but it's not something that they can't get out of it. There are going to be avenues for them to at least look into it, and I think they will at the very least listen.
Jeff Mosher joins us at 1 p.m. to talk all things Birds. Spring training continues for the Phillies in Clearwater with their first full squad practice on Monday. Phillies will take on the Blue Jays in their first spring training game of the season Saturday afternoon. The Sixers have off tonight as the All-Star break wrapped up Sunday over the the break, they signed guard Cam Payne and are expected to sign forward Jabari Walker to a 2-year deal. Sixers are back in action versus the Hawks on Thursday. This update is also brought to you by Pico. When it's cold outside, it takes more energy to stay warm inside. Pico offers tools to help you manage your energy all season long. Get started at pico.com/winter. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic.
I guess I never put it
dry
on.
heaves.
No, I guess I put it on my because Rob Thompson came out and said we have a really good club.
I saw that. I saw Topper.
I got to give him credit, man. He's been really holding the line that everything's good with the Phillies.
Well, he's got to be. It's spring training. Like that's the most optimistic time of the year,
for sure.
You know, it's like everything's anew. Pretty soon, the snow will melt and the grass will grow and we'll have flowers again.
But I mean, I guess you could be, and that this isn't his attitude of like, hey, this is a pivotal year. Like we lost last year, the Dodgers. We went backwards every year. This is a really big year for us.
Yeah,
that's not what the message is at all. The message is we have a really good club.
Yeah,
and we're right there. It's just, and it's honestly true. It's just tough to say, but you do just need the hot team at the right time.
Yeah.
And the Phillies offense hasn't been hot enough at the right time. To discuss not that, but the Eagles and everything else is our buddy Jeff Mosher inside the Birds. He's been very busy inside the Birds. Philly voice. And he joins us right now. What's up, Mosh?
What's up, fellas? I'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Did you get your colonoscopy?
I have gotten them before, yes.
All right, we can move on then.
More than one.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
There you go. Good. Well, that's good to hear. All right, well, all right, Phillies. You're a Phillies fan. Seriously, how are you going into the season? Are you like an excited Phillies fan going into spring training?
I'm not down on the team. I think, look, they're a talented team. They've been up to win, mid-90s the last 2 years. And they kind of remind me of the way the Yankees have been for the last, 15 years, where they spent a lot of money. They've retained a lot of their good players. Unfortunately, I don't care. I mean, I say unfortunately, I mean, for their standpoint, it hasn't really brought them the same number of World Series that they used to win in the 90s and then that last one under Girardi. But they're always there. They always have enough talent to contend and get into the playoffs, and that's kind of how I see the Phillies. I think everybody's looking at teams like that and then saying, how can they beat the Dodgers? Because the Dodgers are just keep one-upping everybody.
Right.
One-upping, like 10 million upping.
I mean, honestly, if you play that on paper, no one's going to beat the Dodgers. But you never know what happens during a season.
Exactly.
No, but you're right. That's always going to be the bar, and it's tough to think
It's an unfair bar, though, frankly.
Yeah, it is. You're right. That's not how baseball works.
That's where baseball needs some reform because it's a little bit too unfair.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could use a cap, but could also use a floor to make sure that even though small market teams are spending a lot of money. But, even when the Yankees and the Red Sox, there was a period of time where the Red Sox were starting to really get up there with the Yankees when they started bidding, when you had to pay for rights just to negotiate with a player from Japan. And, they were just outspending everybody, but they weren't winning the World Series every year. If anything, the Phillies are maybe reminding us a little bit of what the Braves were like in the 90s. Always there, always on the precipice. They finally won their one World Series, during those 90s, but they probably should have won more.
Yeah, they should have, for sure.
It's one of the greatest disappointments in sports, them and the Buffalo Bills.
But they did get the one.
Absolutely.
They did get the one. The Bills didn't. They went to 4 straight, but yeah, you're right.
But also with the Phillies, the 5-year run from 2008 to whenever it
12
time ran out, they should have won more than one World Series if you think about that.
2008 wasn't even the best team.
Yeah, it wasn't. 2009 they were in the World Series, but you think you had a rotation with Roy Halladay, and that was one of those things. They ran into a hot team in San Francisco. They blew the Cardinals series. Yeah, the bats went cold.
And then Ryan Howard blew out the Achilles, and it changed him forever.
And it was over. All right. Well, Jeff, let me ask you. I know you've been doing a lot of stuff right now with Inside the Birds. You're looking at the rest of the division. Who would you say is the Eagles are still favored? Could you imagine they won 3 straight NFC East after we went as long as we did without there being back-to-back? But the Eagles, again, as they should be, are favorites to win the division. What do you think about the rest of the division? There's been some change. Obviously, an entirely new coaching staff up in New York. But kind of give us your overview of what you see in the rest of the NFC East.
I mean, I cannot remember this much change in both the division and the league. What were there, 10 new head coaches? And, whenever you have new head coaches, you usually have new offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. It feels like the NFC and the NFL are going to be completely different in 2026. And I can't help but wonder if teams – I was always told, as a reporter talking to coaches, talking to front office people for 20 years, that you never want to chase a scheme, right? You want a great coach, someone who can develop players, someone who can connect with players. But, I mean, darn if it doesn't feel like everybody, including the Eagles with the Sean Mannion hire, are really kind of trying to get the McVay-Shanahan scheme and willing to just hire anybody who's ever been associated with it, because it does feel like that's the way the NFL is going even harder the last 2 years. You guys remember probably 10 or 15 years ago where everybody wanted a piece of that Bill Walsh, Holmgren, Andy Reid scheme, and then, Mariucci and Marty Morningweg and Gruden, like all the people from that West Coast tree were all of a sudden popping up and becoming coaches. And it feels like that now for the Shanahan-McVay scheme where everybody wants a piece of it. And then I think you're starting to see that with the Fangio defense. Obviously, the Cowboys getting Christian Parker is such a deviation from what the Cowboys have historically been. I know, right? Think about what a typical Cowboys defensive coordinator hire is. Because before Parker, it was, Eberflus. Before that, it was Zimmer. Before that, it was Dan Quinn. Before that, it was Mike Nolan. Before that, it was Rod Marinelli. I mean, they were the retread, experienced veteran coach capital of
Wade
the world.
Phillips.
Defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Wade Phillips, right. And then for them to turn around and hire Christian Parker with no defensive coordinator experience is a major, major deviation for them. I don't know whether that's good or bad. I mean, we all saw Christian Parker do a great job, but I think that if it was an Eagles type of move, right, we would all say, man, they're trying to get ahead of the curve. They're finally rectifying their wrongs. So that could be bad for the Eagles.
Well, especially if Fangio retires after next year.
Yes,
he could have been the heir apparent here. How'd they let him walk?
Because they couldn't match the job.
You can't. How do you keep them?
That's a
sorry note.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a huge job. I mean, that is you want to talk about. And if he says that, like, if he looks at it and says, "Wow, that's a great opportunity," who knows if the Eagles even tried to say, "Listen, like, you're the guy that gets the job when Vic retires." Who knows how it all went down?
Yeah,
that's a huge opportunity for him. It really is.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, let me ask you this, because we're talking about the whole NFC East, and you just kind of laid it out. What's the biggest differentiating factor that the Eagles have over the NFC East? Is it Howie?
Yeah, because I was gonna before you finish that answer, I was gonna say the roster. I mean, they're still the most talented roster in the NFC and East, and that's clearly because of Howie and what they've done and how they've developed in the trenches. I mean, I think you saw Adam Peters, who's been a pretty good GM for the Commanders. You saw him fall into the trap last year of going way too old on the acquisitions, and that team that had so much promise coming off, the NFC Championship loss and the 12-win season in year one of Daniels, they showed how old they were and how injured they got last year. So obviously that was Howie earlier. Remember, Howie made a lot of bad free agent mistakes or trades and things like that.
Yep.
But Howie 2.0 has been ahead of the curve, and those guys have to play catch-up. Now, the one thing with the Giants is, you look at all the experience they brought in from Harbaugh to, if you go up and down the offensive coordinator, Nagy, right, defensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach Brian Callahan. They've brought in all these people who have a lot of experience, but Harbaugh has got a lot of power now. And I'm very curious to see how someone who didn't have that kind of power in Baltimore, because they were such a well-run organization, will handle having that kind of power with the Giants, because it's not for everybody. I mean, it was difficult for Andy Reid when he got the power, like the executive power here in Philadelphia, to handle both of those responsibilities.
Yeah, there's not many examples of it working out, right? Like, John Gruden was his own worst enemy as his GM. Bill Belichick, it wasn't the coaching that got him in trouble. It was the poor drafting and free agent decisions. You're right. Now, like, if they allow him to have too much power, that's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, if you remember, I think Mike Holmgren, right, when he left Green Bay, he went to Seattle. And he became not only the head coach, but also the general manager. This is almost like it never happens anymore, probably because of this. But it didn't go so well at the start. And then finally they hired someone to become the personnel person in Seattle and just let Holmgren coach. And I think that's the year they wound up going to the Super Bowl and losing to
by a half a yard.
Pittsburgh. But really. And a bad holding call on the left tackle for the Seahawks there, Locklear. But in general, it's really not great when you're now, I understand why the Giants did it. I think all three of us could say, hey, listen, the Giants have been an organizational mess for a long time since Tom Coughlin. So if you want John Harbaugh, you're going to have to give that up. And I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I just think it's going to be an interesting dynamic for him to have to deal with. But his hiring so far have been adult in the room type hires of a lot of experience.
Yep. I'm talking to Jeff Mosher.
Denard Wilson is their defensive coordinator. We talk about how the Eagles let Christian Parker go. Well, Denard Wilson was
went to Baltimore
building too. He knows. Yeah.
Yep. Jeff, so this was kind of the topic du jour to start the show. And it's been talked a lot about. The NFL insiders are talking about this, where Jalen Hurts, would the Eagles draft a quarterback relatively high in the draft, even though Jalen Hurts, blah, 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 blah. Now, Jalen does not have any guaranteed money after 2026. And in my opinion, Jalen's play this year has at least me thinking about a backup plan just in case. Not giving anybody else the job, not benching him. But, yeah, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on Jalen Hurts because I feel like I need to, right? It's worked well for them in the past. They drafted Jalen Hurts because they had question marks about Carson Wentz. Ended up working out. But would you consider drafting a quarterback relatively high as a hedge against Jalen? And listen, Tanner McKee's not going to be here forever, so you're drafting a quarterback that's the potential backup. But, I mean, has Jalen's play given you enough cause for pause kind of going into the future?
Oh, look at you poet. Cause for pause.
Yep.
I would say this, John. And remember, I don't want to be revisionist historian on some of this stuff. They drafted Jalen Hurts. They really loved him, obviously. That was less about question marks on Carson and more about how they value the backup quarterback. And Carson had been hurt, and they wanted to make sure they weren't paying upwards of, what was it, $8 to $10 million at that time that it cost to have like a Chase Daniels or a Nick Foles. They wanted a good, cost-effective number 2 quarterback because at that time we're starting to get really expensive. If you're a win-now team like the Eagles always are, you don't want to be paying 10 to 12 plus a year for a backup quarterback. And so I think it would be more about what happens with Tanner McKee, who, I mean, he very easily could be moved this offseason because you're coming up on your 3rd year and he's not going to start over Jalen, obviously, and he has value. And then you don't want to go into next year without having that young developmental quarterback. So, but I will also agree with you. I think that what they've done on offense in bringing in Sean Mannion and this new offensive design is certainly, it's not a statement or an ultimatum for Jalen, but he's going to have to adapt to this offense and run it well because this offense cannot look poor for a 3rd straight year. And so obviously if it does and he struggles and we're in late October, November talking about how the offense just isn't kicking up, then that's going to reflect on Jalen Hurts. So you combine that with the fact that this organization always wants a nice young developmental quarterback and that they pride themselves on what they did in finding Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. I could absolutely
and they should
taking a quarterback day 2.
Yeah, and the thing is,
they should if it's the best player. I mean, they shouldn't just take a quarterback to say they did it. But
Yeah, they're not going to reach on a quarterback, but much like when Jalen Hurts was there,
best player available.
Yeah, well, they loved him.
Yeah,
and the Cowboys are going to draft him if the Eagles didn't.
Yeah.
So, and Jeff, I firmly believe if they see a quarterback and they're like, we really like this kid, they will draft him.
Yeah,
because that's only a good thing if you have a quarterback that can play.
And here's the part of it, the trickle down of that is if now you're saving money on the backup quarterback position where you don't have to pay $10+ million for a backup. Now you got money for Goddard.
Yeah, and that's what we said we wanted to ask. What does this tight end position look like if they let Goddard walk in free agency?
Oh, my gosh.
Barren wasteland.
It's a complete reset. Yeah.
We have not had a tight end in forever, Moshe.
I think we talked about it last week or the week before where they had this really nice pipeline because when they drafted Zach Ertz, they still had Brent Selleck. You know, both those guys won the Super Bowl together in 2017. And then when, Ertz was getting up there, then they had already drafted Dallas Goedert to come and take over. They've done a really nice job going from Selleck to Ertz to Goddard and having someone in place, but they have not done that. I thought for sure last year they were going to draft a tight end, and they didn't. So if they let Goddard walk, it's going to be a complete.
He's got all the leverage, man.
Them at the positions.
He's got so much leverage.
Yes and no. I don't think the Eagles are going to look at this and say, we need to write a blank check to Dallas Goedert or else we'll have nobody. I think that the reason why Howie stockpiles draft picks and maneuvers well in free agency and the trade market is why they've been successful. They'll have an answer. I don't think they're going to come off whatever number they might value Goddard at just because they don't have a really good backup. It just is surprising that they've left themselves in this position.
It has. Most great stuff, man.
I got a conspiracy theory.
What?
Jason Kelce comes out of retirement. They trade for Travis Kelce. And they both play as Eagles.
Wow. What could possibly go wrong? Inside the Birds, Philly voice. Read him, listen to him. He's the best, Jeff Mosher. Jeff, we'll talk next week, man.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You got it. There he is.
You don't like my conspiracy theory?
Oh, yeah.
The Kelce brothers never played together in the NFL.
Only if they did their podcast while playing a game.
Yeah, they were recording it on the sideline.
the field.
Yeah, because they're both on. When the defense is on the field, they would do their podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
But can the offense stay on the field long enough? 3 and out. We got to go back to the pod.
Yeah, no.
3 and out, back to the pod.
Yeah, probably. All right. Appreciate it. Interesting about he mentions Tanner McKee. I do think there's a pretty good chance that they trade McKee.
What do you get? 4th rounder?
Well, otherwise he's walking, and I know you get comp picks and things like that, but if you can get a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
And it's I've seen the Steelers mentioned because if Aaron Rodgers comes back and he's your primary star, you bring in Tanner McKee for when Rodgers gets injured, ineffective, or you get an in-house look at him. You say, you know what? Let's sign him to a contract where he's not the starter, but he could be the starter.
Yeah.
It's a shorter term, and then worst case, you go with him, or maybe you go with somebody else or whatever, and it's only costing you a third-round pick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to move him right now.
Look at the Steelers, though,
Need a backup, though.
Since Roethlisberger left, since they had the guy, since you had the franchise quarterback. We just talked about it earlier.
That's awful.
Either if you have a franchise quarterback, if you don't have one, you're looking for one. And since Roethlisberger's left and retired after a very long, successful career, it's been a revolving door.
Oh no, they're the classic example of this is what you get when you have a real franchise quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, and this is when you don't have that guy anymore, and they can't get him.
It's volatile.
And now they're talking about they're picking in the 20s, not having a high draft pick doesn't help them. But I'm seeing Ty Simpson from Alabama is being mentioned, like, oh, he can develop under Aaron Rodgers. I think the guy can play or you can't.
Yeah.
I think he's like that's what they did with Kenny Pickett. Oh, we're picking at the end of the first round. Let's get Kenny Pickett. Well, he looked like he was a guy that was an end of the first round guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you believe in UFOs? Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I don't think we're alone.
You don't?
No.
Have you ever seen a UFO?
No.
You sure?
No. I'm pretty sure.
Trish?
I think I remember.
Do you believe in UFOs?
You think we're alone?
Do you believe in aliens?
Well, none of this makes any sense. We're floating around on a ball in space.
And it's only us and nobody else.
Well, I don't know if we're like completely alone, but I don't think it's like aliens. I think I'm sure there's algae and stuff on other planets and maybe other things that we don't know of, just like the ocean.
So there is unknown.
But I'm not. Yeah, of course.
But
there's
you don't
unknown.
think
We know like
there's
2% of the ocean. No, I don't think there's like a whole nother humans on other planets. No.
You don't think there's a
No, they're
Philadelphia?
not human. Aliens. That's not human.
A Philadelphia on a different planet.
Aliens. No, I don't think it's possible.
What about like all the like F-16 pilots that have come across really weird, unexplainable things?
There's more than enough evidence. I mean, the government has released stuff. That it's unexplained.
Like what's Area 51 all about?
Man, listen. Well, a former president spoke about, does he think there's aliens?
Was this Obama?
Because he does.
Yeah.
Correct.
And he had access.
Well, but he may have a little bit more access than we do. We'll play you his comments. I've done this before. Is there anybody out there that has seen a UFO or an alien or anything like that? 610
and wasn't high as a kite when they saw it.
Yeah, not on mushrooms.
Context.
610-638. You've been sober, somewhat.
And by the way, I there's a concert announcement that happened today. I want to ask your opinion on it because I think it's one of the most overrated ever.
All right, 610-632-0975. Text line, phone line. If you've seen aliens or you believe in aliens, because President Obama does. We'll play we'll play the audio for you coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another new coach. I'm Patricia Caputo, and this update is brought to you by Morgenstern Medical. This February at Morgenstern Hair Restoration, when you book a hair transplant, you'll receive a full year of Nutrafol absolutely free. Call 610-831-HAIR or visit morgensternhair.com. The Eagles are expected to hire in-house and promote pass game coordinator Parks Frazier, the quarterback coach, for next season. This will be Jalen Hurts' sixth quarterback coach in his 6-year career with the Birds. Jeremy Fowler joined the show earlier and gave insight on how Howie Roseman goes about off-season deals.
My understanding is teams will hear from Howie, even if Howie's not necessarily going to be able to make a deal. He's going to check in on it, and he's going to be sort of a threat looming out there, whether it's perceived or real. Because of that, he's technically involved in every deal, even when he's not.
Jeff Mosher just joined us to talk all things Bird. You can re-listen to that at 975thefanatic.com or on our app. We will keep you updated on any additional moves the Eagles make. Spring training continues for the Phillies in Clearwater with their first full squad practice on Monday. Phillies take on the Blue Jays in their first spring training game of the season Saturday afternoon. This update is also brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Question about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCAA, national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Patricia Caputo on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
American Dream. The big announcement today at Xfinity Mobile Arena, properly named, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band are coming May 8th at 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
Tickets go on sale Saturday, February 21st. That's this Saturday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. It's the Land of Hope and Dreams American Tour for one night only in Philadelphia.
Man, so John Clark, when do the tickets go on sale? John Clark will be waiting
He's in line at Ticketmaster already. At Ticketron, they used to call it, remember?
So when I worked at the Willow Grove Mall back in the early 90s at Luigi's, it was when Spectrum Showcase was the Ticketmaster in the third floor of the Willow Grove Park Mall. So on Saturdays and Sundays when concerts or whatever would be, people would sleep out there, and then at a certain point, whenever it was. So when I'd be going in the morning because we served breakfast, you would have the line of people that were waiting for concert tickets.
Yeah.
And I loved it because now it's just like all the bots get them when they go on sale.
Yep, and you have the secondary market.
Right. Because John Clark he was probably sleeping outside for Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. I remember when Metallica was coming to the Mann Music Center on the Black Tour. They did like the major tour. Yeah. So they had blown up, and they just did this little tour. And you had to buy tickets that way. So I went to the Ticketron in Coatesville, figuring there probably wasn't a lot of people in Coatesville that were going to be buying Metallica tickets.
You were wrong?
No, it was me and one other guy there.
Really?
And I got first row tickets to see Metallica at the Mann Music Center.
So you were smart.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you.
Yep. It was a good move by me. And we saw Metallica in the first row there on the side of the stage where Kirk Hammett is, slightly off center. And it was a great show.
So are you going to be going to the Springsteen show is the question I have.
Absolutely not.
Well, what's your beef with Springsteen?
I think he sucks.
Oh, okay.
I think it's cheesy.
Trish doesn't know the bit like I do.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's not even a bit. It's for me, there's only two kinds of music. Like, I'm not just a metalhead and that's it. There's two kinds of music. There's good music and there's bad music. And I think his music is bad.
Why?
I like Born to Run. That's the only song. That's why I should play that one. I think it's just cheesy, hokey. You know, he's got a nice underbite.
Glory days.
Yeah.
Glory days.
He did do a feature with Zach Bryan, and he sounded not too good in his older days.
I don't really have, I'm not like...
he grinds.
I love him.
His live shows apparently are great.
He does 3-hour shows or whatever.
Yeah.
I've never been to a concert. There are so many people out there that they actually keep track of how many concerts they've been to, kind of like Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah.
But Dave Matthews Band's on steroids is what John Clark's probably been to 40
No way. Way more than that. Way more than that.
Springsteen shows?
Sunshine?
But...
You kidding me? He's seen him up and down the eastern seaboard.
Do you remember the video? Someone was videoing him.
Yeah, he was pumping. Fist pumping.
No, and he's...
Yeah, the whole douche crew was there.
And he's...
Dagatano was there, Statari, the whole Bruce Springsteen douche crew. Yeah.
So just for the record, I am not a hater of Bruce Springsteen. I am a hater of Springsteen fans. They're extremely annoying.
Okay.
Because it's not that Springsteen's great, because I don't care if people like Springsteen. It's the insistence that I recognize his greatness.
Yeah.
They just can't enjoy him. My friend Zach.
They're sycophants.
My friend Zach, he'll grab me by the shirt and be like, just admit that Springsteen is great. Like, I was at his house. He's having a party at his house. And he's just on all his TVs. He's got these live Springsteen shows. And he's all into it. He's drunk. All into it. And he's yeah, look at this. And I'm like, dude, I so don't care about this stupid live Springsteen concert you have on your TV right now. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
And he was incensed that I wouldn't just admit it and watch and enjoy it.
Offended by it. He's offended.
He was.
They can't fathom that we don't preach at the altar of Bruce.
He's fine. Go enjoy the concerts.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
It's not for me. It's never been for me. I like one of his songs. The Ghost of Tom Joad that Rage Against the Machine did. That's the one I like.
That's a good version, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you...
I've never even heard of the one
But you don't like his music or you don't like the sycophants?
Both. I think he has... like Born to Run, I like that song. That's it.
Trish, do you like Bruce Springsteen?
I do like Bruce Springsteen. My mom has actually had a couple drinks with him multiple times.
Like he seems like a good guy. He walks around and plays pubs down there, the Stone Pony and all that.
Yeah, apparently he'll just talk like a normal person, as they should, in my opinion.
Sure.
And yeah, he's a great guy. But you've never been to a concert? Is that what you said?
A Bruce Springsteen concert.
Oh, a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Oh, no, he's
okay.
been at
I thought you said I've never been to a concert.
I can show you a picture of the what's it called, the Stone Pony.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Asbury
in
Park?
Yeah, I was in Asbury Park 2 summers ago with my mom because she grew up going there.
And Bruce is from, or at least hangs out in Monmouth County. At least used to. This was post me, pre me.
Bruce Springsteen is a huge star, and he's a Jersey guy.
Yeah,
for sure. I have nothing against him.
He never distanced himself from it.
No,
which is fine. But yeah, to me, it's never clicked. Like there's some bands that I didn't like when I first heard them, and then they became an acquired taste.
Right.
Like System of a Down was like that. The first time I heard it, I was like, "What?
Yeah, they're awesome.
God's green earth is this?"
Wake up!
It made no sense, right?
Chop Suey was their...
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like, it clicks, and you're like, "Oh my God, I love this," and you can't stop listening to it.
All right, so listen, text line 610-632-0975 on the Springsteen stuff. Jason obviously is angry at Springsteen fans.
Yeah, I mean, they'll have a great night there, fist pumping, and being at the altar of Bruce.
Right.
Good for them.
All
I've
right.
seen Metallica over 60 times.
See, now that you brought this up, this is the segment. I feel weird going into the alien stuff.
Oh, do we have time for the? We still have time. We have plenty of time left here.
Tasty. I can also do that tomorrow. Tasty Cake Dom. Tasty Cake. Hello.
Hi, John. How are you?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, Dom.
Hey, Jace.
How you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
Going through
mediocre.
Yeah,
tenuous
so
at
Jace,
best. I'm day to day.
Jace, I pray for you So, I just had my 5th surgery on my right leg, and in the last 2 years, I've spent 8 months in rehab centers.
Oh, man.
So I know what it's like to kind of go through it, and I root for you every day, Jason.
I'm rooting for you, Dom, too. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's renewed my faith in humanity. In our world today, like the egg social media world, people's support has been amazing to me.
Yeah, and Dom, I had said it earlier, but like I would have never, if Jason doesn't bring this up, you don't call in and say, I had no idea that what you've been going through, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all going through stuff, and you never really realize it. So, yeah.
Life ain't easy.
No, it's not.
It ain't easy.
Yeah, what you're going through, Jace, I'll tell you another son of a gun is this diabetes thing.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I lost 30 pounds. My sugar's 120 or less every day. All
John
the
deals
things
with
they
that
tell
too.
you-
Yeah.
They tell you all the things they tell you to do, you do, and still the infection came back, and they had to remove 8 inches of my right tendon this time.
Oh, jeez.
So
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, thank God I got a good show to listen to.
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. Like, we got to realize that, like, as a society, that people are dealing with stuff. So, like, maybe be a little kinder sometimes, because sometimes you don't know what somebody's dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just
all right, Tom. All right, Tom. Appreciate it, buddy. It's yeah. I mean, he said leg surgeries. I didn't realize it sounded like it was diabetes related. Angry Al, who was texting me earlier, because it was about your fish, your tropical fish, because he used to work at a fish stand or fish place, but. He had a stroke, and and Al has diabetes, and like he's home from the hospital, and he's doing a little bit better. So.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody take care of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all probably should have been a better friend to ourselves when we were younger. You think you're invincible, and maybe we're paying a little bit of a price now, but it ain't easy.
Nope.
This is not easy. There's nothing easy about it.
And you mentioned diabetic. I've been type 1 diabetic since 2002.
Yeah,
so.
I mean you're 24 years now dealing with this.
Yep. So
I mean it's effed me up mentally.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't exactly stable there to begin with, but this has screwed me up even more.
Yeah, the diabetes is a pain in the ass financially because you have to pay for so much. Yeah, but like even with insurance, but just to manage it with my CGM that tracks my blood sugar and my diabetes pump.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. It's a couple $100 a month, but that's nothing compared to what a lot of people are doing. I'm able to control the diabetes relatively easy. We have good days and bad days and everything else,
and you can get sick at the drop of a dime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, text line. How many Springsteen sycophants are out there?
Well, we have one texter that says, Jason and I can agree on something. I'm a hip-hop guy. Jason is a metalhead. We could not be more polar opposites in our choice of music, but we can both agree on one thing. Bruce Springsteen is terrible. Karate Mark.
Ooh, there you go.
Well, KM's a good man, by the way. Look, I've been to hip-hop concerts. I saw Eric B. and Rakim with LL Cool J.
Look at you.
Back in the day.
His pant leg was up.
Yeah.
Jason's.
Yeah.
Just like LL Cool J.
I saw I was at the Together Forever tour when Run DMC toured with the Beastie Boys for the License to Ill.
So why were you there?
To see the show.
No,
I liked it.
So
That's great.
But you were a metalhead?
Yeah.
At the show? All right.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've seen Dave Matthews.
I have too.
Harry made me go see the Eagles and James Taylor.
Was that good? It had to be good, right?
The Eagles were one of those bands I wanted to check off the list.
Was that where you peed in Harry's yard?
No, that was Metallica. And it wasn't a yard. It was a driveway.
Was that the Metallica Coatstown tickets, or was that another time? Or
No,
Coatesville
I
tickets?
didn't know Harry back then.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was Metallica night, yeah, where I hosed down the front yard or the driveway. He's like, you can just come in and go to the bathroom. I was like, yeah. I figured I'd go here.
Couldn't make it that far.
What do you want from me?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
That became pretty legendary, but
So just check you. So you aren't going to the Springsteen concert? Is that correct?
No, I'm not. Like I said, I would go when I was working with Mike. I'd said, okay, I'll go. Blah blah blah. And me and Harry made a deal for me to go see the Eagles, and he would go see Metallica. So,
that's
I
so
went to
cute.
Yeah. So he went to Metallica with me, and we got buckled that night.
Nice.
Hence, I'm peeing in his driveway.
All right, coming up, YouTube chat recap and phone calls and everything else. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
You never.
2nd. The 1 o'clock hour of the program brought to you by Morgenstern Hair Restoration, morgensternhair.com. 610-831-HAIR, 3 locations, Wayne, Pennsylvania, Bala, Kenwood, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Hair Morgenstern Hair Restoration championship results. Check it out. I had some people reaching out to me saying, like, how do I get a hold of Jason? And somebody had asked, like, hey, is this his Instagram page that he's and I said, yeah, I don't think he really uses Instagram, so that's his page. You just haven't posted in a couple years.
Yeah, I don't need another social media app. People send me like Instagram links and I'll look at it a lot, but I don't post anything on there. I don't really post a ton on.
Yeah, no, you're not. Yeah, you don't really need the.
Yeah, for promotional purposes only.
Yeah, but so I went through your. Could you imagine Jason without a beard? For people that don't know, Jason's bald. Has a shaved head, bald, and then he has a long beard that it's like reddish gray.
Yeah.
When's
the Irish in me.
Yeah, like and today's wearing a black hat, but like so Jason was a metalhead. So like you kind of look like a metalhead right now. You have tattoos, you have a sleeve on your right arm that goes out over the but there's pictures without any facial hair at all.
Yeah, I look like I'm 10.
And this is the first Jason I remember. Is the Jason without any like this picture right here is
me and Peter Forsberg.
And so there's pictures of Jason with no beard. It looks like a different person.
Yeah.
It does. If he committed a crime, Trish, shave the beard.
Right away.
You want to know the last time I shaved it?
Over 10 years. Here. Yeah?
Well, all the pictures that when we got into some hot water of the Dwayne Swedesboro thing, I had a big beard. So all the pictures that all the publications were using had the picture of me with the beard. So I shaved it. And I walked out of the station. There was an NBC 10 reporter waiting outside for me to leave to get the comment on it, which I wouldn't have done anyway.
Oh, my
God. I walked right by him with no beard, and he had no idea. I said, how you doing?
You literally were going to get a TV camera following you because of the Dwayne from Swedesboro situation.
Because it was,
We'll have to do the inside to that one of these times.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Lindros and LeClaire and Jason with no beard.
That's the Legion of Doom right there.
Yeah.
Look at me. I look like a miniature version. Yeah. There was somebody else in that picture, and I cropped them out.
Really?
I forget who it was, but I cropped them out of it.
That wasn't nice.
Yeah.
Obviously,
because I wanted the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, man. You're right in between them. Well, there you go. Well, I mean, listen, Jason, you have an email people, because a lot of people are like, how do I get a hold of Jason? Just
Yeah. I give my email out on the podcast all the time. It's jason.myrtetus, myrtetus @gmail.com.
All right.
And at Jason Myrt on Twitter.
Yeah.
My DMs are open.
Right. And I know that there's lots of women. You're a married man, so don't try to slide into the DMs like that.
No, married man. Happy. My wife's been taking great care of me.
There you go.
And she's going to take care of me next week. I just found out they got to give me a shot every day for a month for PE, pulmonary embolism.
Uh-oh.
We found this out. My wife asked about it. And she's like, oh, yeah, you have to have a shot every day. I'm like and do a fatty part of your body.
Yeah, it's not a vein.
So I'm like, so my wife's got to give me a needle in my butt every day. She's like, she's like, I'll pass out. I'm like, well, I can't do it.
So speaking of somebody that it's probably used needles, and I don't use them anymore because I have the pump. It's the biggest non-thing in the world.
Yeah. I'll be used to it in a minute.
So when I get my blood drawn, I can't look at the needle in the vein. I'll pass out.
Yeah, me too.
Because I've done it before.
Yeah, I did it yesterday.
The needle in the butt or the thigh or even the abdomen is like literally not. It's the biggest non-issue at all. There's no blood. There's really, it's just like a little boop.
Yeah.
Is it?
I have a port right now still.
Right.
That's in my chest, embedded in me, that they can use for like when I got chemo, they would use the port. But I got to get that surgically removed.
All right. We'll get that removed. But not before we have the YouTube chat recap. What do we got?
It's time for the YouTube chat recap.
How about filling us in? Let me tell you something else, man.
Watch us live on YouTube every single weekday.
I can't lie. Let me tell you something.
It's the Middays with Marks YouTube chat recap.
Yep.
All right, first one.
Hit me.
I didn't think much of what Dave originally said. Bryce was probably a little too sensitive about it, probably fueled by fan reaction to Dave's comments. Then Bryce has his get back a couple of times. They'll all move on. Neil from the YouTube chat.
Totally agree, Neil. That was I'm mad at you. I haven't talked about this publicly. Now I'm going to talk about it publicly, and that's that. and he's got to move on because I mean, you know what? I think you're going to see maybe a couple of mentions or something like that. Like if he wins the game with a big home run or something. Oh, I'm not elite. I don't know, man. I just wish they would have squashed it personally to where they could have had a conversation. And like, honestly, Dave Dombrowski should have been the one that said, that can't happen. I'm sorry. Here's what I meant. And that's that.
Yeah. And could have put an end to it, but now it lingers.
Yep.
And it's now lingered in the spring training.
Well, hopefully it's done. All right, what's next?
Speaking of pressuring up the middle, guys, let's take a moment and give some thoughts to all the women in Charlotte. Dawood Spriggs from the YouTube chat.
Oh, Ray. Well, the good news is for if you have daughters that are in Charlotte right now, Ray's there only a very short period of time. Trish can speak to
one night stand, Ray.
How irresistible Ray is, right? I mean, women are sometimes, you talked about a reporter waiting outside. There's women that are just throwing their underwear at Ray when he leaves here.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's got a collection of women's underwear?
Apparently.
Yeah, Ray has to come in disguise.
He should shave his beard.
Right. All right, what's next?
You can tell right away, Trish is going to be a massive star. Rodman, on the other hand, is destined for selling cologne in a mall kiosk. MBD from the YouTube chat.
Now, why is Rodman he's always getting ripped when Trish is getting
I don't
when
get
you're
that.
involved.
But I think the first time I produce, Rodman or Nate went on the YouTube chat line and talk. And
so he antagonized
So
him.
I wonder, but I don't know. That's unconfirmed if Sean was doing it. I know someone was doing it.
Sean Rodman, who is weekend producer, fill-in producer. He's in the mornings most of the time doing producing AP and stuff like that, associate producer. And the one time Trish did a lackluster update, and Rodman took shrapnel from it.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't get that. I'm fine if you come at me and I have a horrible update. I already came at myself, so I'm like, oh yeah, I messed up that word.
But that was just that. Well, I don't even think that was directed at you. It's just more or less like, oh yeah, Rodman does that all the time.
Yeah, and I don't know why they're mean. I mean, we just said we should be nice to everybody and spread kindness, and now they're being mean again.
No, I just said that maybe the Eagles should draft a quarterback in the second round, and it was a conspiracy from
Bruce Beasley.
Yeah, the Beasleys.
Yeah,
the Beasley's telling me to do this
from
stuff.
Fort Myers.
Yeah, have a Jalen Hurts team.
Oh my God.
I mean, like Jason, it's like today we started off with the Jalen Hurts stuff because Jeremy Fowler was coming up. And going into it, people are going to be really annoying because they don't want to hear it. They just want you to say everything's great. They don't want to hear anything contrary. So as long as you can stay away from social media, it makes it a little bit easier. All right, what's next?
I just got a shop and deliver order from Giant. Dude ordered 4 jars of Miracle Whip. Starting to think it's John under a pseudonym. If Bayless from the YouTube chat.
Nope.
You big Miracle Whip guy?
Just with cold cut turkey.
Oh, that's right. You talked about it.
That's it. Or even the Thanksgiving turkey.
Oh.
When you make sandwiches.
Yeah. Tony on the YouTube chat said Metallica is good and Bruce sucks. Yeah, I love listening to so-called music where people with no talent scream where you can't understand what they're saying. Awesome music. Aha. He's all offended now.
Right. Well, you did say his favorite. If Bruce Springsteen's his favorite, you're more or less saying you're an idiot because...
No, I'm not saying he's an idiot. He can like what he wants.
Right.
And I think Metallica's great. The fact that you don't understand what they're saying, that's a you problem because I understand every word they're saying.
But it's different talent. Springsteen has talent. Metallica has talent. To say Metallica doesn't have talent makes you ignorant.
Yeah.
Did you say Springsteen didn't have talent?
No. I said he annoys me. I don't get it.
Right.
It didn't ever clicked with me.
And
I think he sucks.
That's why I don't hate Springsteen. I hate their fans.
But he's offended because I think Bruce sucks. You like him. Good for you. I think it sucks.
Like his music?
Yeah.
Right. You think his music stinks, but you don't even like him from a talent standpoint.
No, I think he's talented, and I've heard he does great long shows and is a great performer.
But
I have no desire to see it.
You are aggressive. He is aggressive in not liking him, though. You could just not like him without being aggressive.
Yes.
Right. No,
because of the sicko fans.
Yeah, you're right.
Who want me to get down, because of guys like him that are offended that I don't like him.
Yep.
Get over it. I don't like him.
It's
okay. And I don't care if you don't like Metallica. Metallica doesn't like you. How about that, Tony?
Was there a texter that said they saw Springsteen 1,000 times?
Just in concerts 1,000 times, and he said he was 55, but he's been to 1,000 different concerts.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. That's like seeing him once every 2 days since you were 20.
Well, let's say that for 30 years, for 1,000, you would need to see 30 a year.
If you saw 100 a year for 30 years, that would be
3,000. That's what I'm
concerts.
saying. If you did 30 a year,
yeah, he
for
ain't
30
I'm not buying that. He's full of it. He's over exaggerating.
All right, hurry up, bro.
Show me ticket stubs.
Bryce will not retire a Philly, and at some point will want more money that he is not worth. Okay. Bryce has to show us this year that he still has it. Terrell from Philly.
All right, I need you to save that for tomorrow because that's something I want to talk about tomorrow. Bryce Harper might not be finished his career as a Philly. I hope he does, but normally that doesn't happen. We'll see. But I totally disagree with that right there. I do not want to turn this into negative Bryce stuff. I really hope
you're a Bryce man.
I really hope that's not where we're going as a fan base, and I can't control that. I can only control me. All right, Jason, feel better, man. We'll talk to you next week. Coming up next are the guys.
You won't talk to me next week.